Hello and good evening, or Guten Abend, as they say here in Germany, and welcome to GPVWC Formula Sprint 1 for the 9th round of the 2025 Championship. My name is not Owen Harmon, although you might be forgiven for thinking it because of the same initials that I share with Owen, but I am Edward Hunter, of course. Usually you would hear me on the Thursdays, but it's the other Thursdays when we do Super League, so I am joined, of course, by Alex Hallows alongside me in the commentary box. So I'm looking forward to working with, of course, along with our broadcast director, Fabian Jungbluth. So, Alex, here we are at the Nurburg ring. It's not quite the the 14-mile Nordschleife, but still 5.1 kilometers of action here. We've got our 30-minute feature race, our 30-lap feature race, our 20-lap sprint race, and of course our qualifying session still to come here. And the championship so far has really been between the two multi-forces, isn't it, with a couple of others just starting to spoil the party as the season goes on, the likes of Team Sheep at Apex and HTP, along with KKR, of course, with Thailand winning the reverse grid last time out at Silverstone, of course, which he's become something of a specialist at. But yeah, we are expecting Multiforce to be quite strong here, but it is interesting how Apex the Apex Grand Prix continue to really up their pace. For some reason, I thought I was commentating on the Formula 1 movie there, and I realized, oh yeah, Apex Grand Prix is a real team that existed before the F1 movie came out, and that's driven by Yassileth and Oliver Terrace, of course. But anyway, Alex, welcome to Nurburgring. I'm going to stop rambling and let you answer. How you feeling ahead of the action about to begin here?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Shame it's not the Nordschleife setup, but you know, it would have been more exciting with the Nordschleife layout. But you know, I'm not here to moan about that.
Qualifying would take ages though, and the drivers would all complain.
Yeah, it would. It's good. It's good to be here. Now halfway through the season, I think, round 9 of 16, if I'm correct. Yep. With 30 laps of action in the feature race, followed by 20 laps in the sprint. And as you said, Multiforce GP dominating the league at the moment with Medus Micah and Pavel Andrzejewski. I see not much has changed since my absence, which is well, kind of something I don't know if I should have expected or not. but yeah, let's see what the Nurburgring brings to us. It is a very nice track, and it looks like it's going to be another dry one though.
Yeah, exactly. Not like FS2 a couple of days ago where my team and Joe Gillette lucked in by going for the dry tyres on a drying track at the start. But there we go. We've just seen the practice session ending here. And of course, our championship leader, Mateusz Micah, had a huge scare, got caught up in a massive accident in the reverse grid race at Silverstone through Cops, I believe it was, where I think somebody lagged in front of him as one of the 0-1 cars, wasn't it? And it caused a massive accident that Micah was involved in. And that was after he'd won the feature there. So his teammate Pavel Andrzejewski took advantage, got that 5th position, and has closed the gap to 20 points. So it has been up and down, and really it's a case of what could well decide this championship in FS1 this season between our two main contenders in the Drivers' Championship is who has the better race twos, who stays out of trouble when things get very, very hectic and contact becomes a major risk. So then, qualifying has just begun, as you can see, and there's a little bit of a change in the cloud cover, but it's still bright and sunny, 21 degrees track temperature. As we see, one of the Hyperions is first to try and escape the exit of the pit lane. That's Matthias Dabrowski, who is just sort of stationary. So I think, has he done a sort of, there we go. He does get underway there. I think it is, of course, private sessions. So there's no danger of anybody crashing into the back of him, of course, but Hyperion, interesting team, of course. The Polish squad, named after one of the moons of Saturn. They're down in 13th in the points. The Poles have had a bit of an interesting time. They're about 4 points off the back of 0-1 Esports, who are 1 point behind Team Iris. It's a very, very tight battle, basically to finish in the top 8 and top 10 here in the championship. But yeah, Hyperion have not had a great deal of luck. Their best finish was Mateusz Zabinski, Dabrowski's teammate, got 6th in the reverse grid race at Indianapolis, if memory serves. Yeah, it was Indianapolis. So yeah, Hyperion are one of those teams that will be hoping the Eiffel Mountains treat them a little bit better than the last couple of races have gone for them, because I think they didn't score any points at all at Silverstone. It was a very, very tough one for them, and they've only rescored 12th place at Canada as well, the race before that. So they are on a bit of a points drought right now as we cut to Jesse Latinen, the man who was very impressive in Formula Sprint 2 last season before he got called up for military service in his native Finland. And since coming back this season, Latinen has won the reverse grid race at Japan, won race 1 at Montreal as well. And he is a very credible 5th in the championship, right behind Giuseppe Saracino. I think he's about 2 points adrift of the Team Shiba driver. So that's got to be his aim as well. And we see Apex Grand Prix, Domenico Scarpelli's team, going from strength to strength to strength, and Jesse Latinen has very much been at the peak of that as the number 45 begins its first flying lap, Alex, and heads towards the Mercedes-Benz arena.
Yeah, here we go into turn 1 and see how Latinen does that corner nice and tidy. It's very complex, the first few corners, from my personal opinion. You got to get the right braking time, get the steering right here. We go to the left-hander, and then we've got to go instantly turn to the right. And it seems to keep it clean so far, so nicely well done for Latinen in the Apex car. Going into the fast left and then fast right. It's all full of left and rights. It's a bit like a roller coaster in my honest opinion, the circuit. That's what I love about the Nurburgring as a whole. And as we see the nice.
They literally put a roller coaster, didn't they, next to the start finish straight?
Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah, it does. A roller coaster for a roller coaster's track.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes a whole lot of sense for it.
Yeah, I imagine that was a key selling point when they built the roller coaster. As we see sector times coming in, Mateusz Majka fastest in the first sector, despite Latinen showing purple, because of course he's the first to set a flying lap here. But Michael Falkenhayn has gone fastest in the middle sector, 37.7 for 01 Esports. And Falkenhayn started in FS2 as we see Jesse Latinen swing it into the NGK chicane at the end of the lap into Coca-Cola curve. You see the Art of Performance banner in the background as Latinen, the Finn, gets on the power, trails towards the line, and of course fastest final sector of anybody, 24.0, and that is enough to beat Pavel Andrzejewski's first attempt by 0.003 of a second then. So it's typically close as we expected to be in FS1. Here is Scott Flack, the Australian, in the Overpower car, which we know has lots of links to Super Venturi. He goes 4th fastest despite being the fastest man in the first sector there, or he was just beaten by Andrzejewski, I think, in the first sector, and he's at less than 0.2 off of Taras in front of him then. So the margin's pretty narrow. Here's Owen Kilhausvik, and 100 to 1 are a very interesting team to talk about, Alex, because not only has Owen Kilhausvik been consistently delivering strong points, especially at the end of race ones, he's gotten a lot stronger at his time management, but also his teammate Brodie Lawless has been shining in the other car. He was on the podium, second position in Montreal, of course. So Ben Constantine has been delighted by how the teams were going, because they were 14th in last year's championship. They are 10th at the moment, and Brodie Lawless is back in action today, just waiting to set that first flying lap as we cut back to Lorenzo Di Cutis in the Team Shiba car. It's a bit of a late turn in through that final corner. The first flying lap for him will be 10th fastest, so that slots him just behind Frank Hamming and ahead of Mateusz Zabinski and Dabrowski in the Hyperions, who are 11th and 12th after those first runs then. So advantage very much Apex Grand Prix, with Karas and Latinen setting superb laps here. Mateusz Majka, no sign of him anywhere near the top 10, but of course I think he's yet to get a proper lap on the board.
Yep, it seems Majka hasn't done a time yet. Oh, there he is now, about to start a time as he goes around in Haken. I think if I said it right. I'm trying to look at the words
Yep.
right.
The same one that I am.
Mercedes Arena corners here, and here we go into the nice, easy left and right, going down the nice straight now here. And let's see how he does in Sector 1. Is this going to be a good time? Yeah, purple Sector 1 so far for Mateusz Majka. So this is looking very promising for him already as we go around Vavelin Curve, the Ford curve. And here we go, the big old hairpin, Domlup corner. Dunlop Kehre, or some, as they say it.
You don't have to
Um,
say the German word for corner if you don't want to, Alex. You can just say corner or chicane or curve. As we go into the Schumacher S with Micah, who, as you say, carrying a lot of speed, but it was the middle and particularly the final sector where Lattinen was very strong here. So let's see how our championship leader measures up then as he speeds through into Michelin Curve and Vorsteiner corner. Dips a wheel in the gravel out of Vorsteiner. That's going to hurt his run down the Hasenbeck's Boden here in towards the NGK chicane. He is still up a little bit in the middle sector, but this final sector surely is not quite going to be as strong unless Micah can pull it out of the bag here, Alex.
Yeah, it looks like in the second sector he has dipped down a bit in the time. So here we go in the final straight across the line, and that is provisional pole position for Matheus Micah by just a little paperclip of a gap as well. Between a lot, well, I could say I think first to fourth. I think it's quite close at the moment. Everyone's like less than a second from first to 13th, but we still have a lot of other drivers. There's Rozak, who's done a purple sector 2, so a very strong sector there for Rozak, crossing the line, going up to second place. That's an amazing time with a purple sector 2 as well.
Yeah, we're getting into the low 33s here, so the track is clearly ramping up. It's saying on race view, I'm not sure how accurate it is, 42 degrees track temperature, so it has really risen a lot. Ambient temperature, 24 degrees, of course. But yeah, the next in Polton, we've seen Rozak pull some strong performances earlier in the season. He was third at Istanbul, third in the feature race at Indianapolis as well. But this is his first race since Indianapolis as well, since a month or two ago, essentially. He's missed Canada and Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, of course. So good to see him back on form and back in that Nexium pole team. Definitely needed him because in the championship they'd fallen down to 6th, and they're quite nearly 100 points behind KKR at the moment, and in danger of being jumped by Overpower with some strong performances from Scott Flack, who of course is 6th on the grid at the present moment as Andrzejewski is lighting up that middle sector. Remember, this is where Micah dipped a wheel in the gravel, so this is a big opportunity for Andrzejewski then as he seeks to close on Micah in that championship. So it's the 2 poles for the Maltese team. Round the final corner he comes. Can Andrzejewski get himself onto the front row? Yes, he can get himself onto pole position. A brilliant final sector there. 133.1. Alex, it's entirely possible in these last 6 minutes that somebody can dip into the 32s, and that might just be enough to get into pole position. But just 8 thousandths between Lattinen and Andrzejewski here, because Lattinen has improved again. 133.167. That's our current pole time.
Yeah, I think the Multiforce GP drivers is giving me a very much of a McLaren vibe in real life here. You know, racing against each other, trying to prove who's the best, especially in the championship as well. But Yassi Lattinen making the most of it and getting that provisional pole for now. But there will be, they still have time to make one more lap. I think from each of those drivers. I think we still got some other drivers who haven't done any times yet, but I think that might be due to penalties, if I'm correct. I'm not 100% sure, as I've been absent. And yes, there's Jensen Bintz doing a time now. With Pixelate Racing, I don't see Jensen Bintz on my spreadsheet, but he seems to be racing today. So that's news to me.
Jansen Bintz was the original driver for that Pixelate car early in the season. Of course, won the reverse grid race at Istanbul Park early in the season. So certainly for Stefan McCready and Pixelate, they will be delighted that the Luxembourg driver and, of course, Nurburgring, former host, a fun little fact, of the Luxembourg Grand Prix back when Jerez held the European Grand Prix, Hockenheim held the German Grand Prix. So Nurburgring was left with Luxembourg, even though I don't think it's particularly... It's kind of near Luxembourg, but it's not really in Luxembourg because it's a tiny province, really. It's a little bit like calling Monza the Vatican Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, confirmation for Brodie Lawless. The reason you've not seen him escape onto track is because at the Canadian Grand Prix, during qualifying there, Brodie escaped to the pits and returned to track, which, of course, is a back-of-the-grid penalty for the next event that he takes part in, which, of course, is here at the Nürburgring. But, of course, 100 to 1, they know they've got a big talent in Brodie Lawless, so the Englishman will be very, very keen to fight his way through. Janssen, a little bit far over the curb there, needs to get a decent time on the board here as he goes through that last corner at Coca-Cola. Powers towards the line. Is he going to get into the top 15? It's top 9. There we go, 133.5. So that displaces Scott Flack down to 10th then. So, yeah, the teams that are starting to struggle here are Team Sheba, Saracino down in 12th. And his teammate, where is the other Team Sheba in the order? I can't remember.
The duties is 16th.
16th, so out the points.
Yep.
Just ahead of Victor B, who's filling in the second overpower, of course. So a new driver, Victor B, the Brazilian. The B must be for Brazilian. As we see, Micah is faster than anybody in the first 2 sectors and just has to nail this lap here. This could be a pole time, Alex, as Latinen. Is that time going to be displaced by a championship leader? Yes, it is. It's only a personal best in the final sector, but it's enough to take pole by just over a tenth of a second, 133.047. And yeah, 3 minutes to go. That is a mighty time from Micah.
Yeah, it looks like Micah now just needs to hold that time unless he has time left to make another lap, which I don't think he will, as we have 3 minutes left on the clock. We have Davide Zanini now on our screens, P23 at the moment in the LEF Auto Racing car. I think if I'm looking at the standings correctly, Zanini started actually last round at the British Grand Prix, having quite an all-right race, finished 16th and 18th in that order. And here he goes, crossing the line here, and goes up to P15 in the points. That's nicely done. A nice improved time as well to be just a point, and hopefully maybe proving a point in the race, maybe getting some positions from there.
Yeah, it's good to see Davide Zanini back in the saddle, as it were, because he had a very, very tricky Superlights campaign where he scored 32 points and was down in 20th for TTF last year. But he had a lot of retirements as well in that season, a couple of controversial moments there. But he's been very strong in Academy. He's been somewhat decent in FS2. And as you say, at Silverstone, he wasn't too far off getting a couple of points for LEF then. So if he can keep building on that momentum, because he's built up a lot of experience since he started in 2023, Zanini, the Zanini Panini could well be one to watch out for then, as we see Zubinski, who was just outside the top 10 in the beginning of the session, now with a 3/10 down in the middle sector. Oh, as we see a little wiggle there out of that chicane for Zubinski. The Hyperion driver has got to nail what's almost certainly going to be his final lap, but the rear tyres, the softs starting to fade away here. And if the softs are fading away after one push lap in qualifying, that could be interesting reading ahead of our next 2 races, Alex, because, of course, there will be a couple of drivers that might be tempted in race 2 to gamble on the softs. And we haven't really had a lot of dry races in FS1 at the Nurburg Ring, because I think last time we were here in 2023, it was wet races in both race 1 and race 2, essentially. So we could see this could be a real race that's difficult to predict in terms of how long the soft tire and the mediums, for that matter, will last. Is Pavel Andrzejewski going a little bit quicker in the first sector, but is this going to be enough to get onto the front row? Because it's going to be quite the ask to beat his teammate Micah here in qualifying. I think he's fighting with Latinen and Pavel Andrzejewski under pressure here.
Yep, here we go. Not an improvement time in Sector 2, unfortunately, but, you know, they've still got Sector 3 left to get past. As we go into the NGK chicane, as we go, and he does that. Oh, we have a screen freeze there. There we go, and it's back. And here we go into the final corner of Coca-Cola. Nice entry there, nicely done. Doesn't do what I did and went to the barrier. And there we go, nice exit as well, crossing the line. And it's a purple going into P1. That's amazing stuff. Amazing recovery there in Sector 3 by Pavel Andrzejewski.
Yeah, there we go. So amazing. He was personal best in the first and final sector, and that was just enough to pit Mateusz Micah. I don't think Micah is on another lap, but Jase Latinen, though, is just behind Andrzejewski in the first sector. You see 43 thousandths off then. So into Dunlop he comes here, and this is such an easy corner to outbrake yourself and just find yourself in the gravel, but no such errors from Jase Latinen, the Apex car, powering through into the Schumacher S, and then going towards then the Michelin and Vorsteiner corners. Again, it's all about just carrying speed and momentum here. So easy to dip a wheel into the gravel on exit here, which is Lattinen just touches the gravel but does not lose too much time there, you'd think, although he has lost a 10th in that middle sector. I think this is going to be a big ask to beat Micah. He might have to settle for third on the grid here, but yeah, Lattinen will be eager to spoil the Multiforce party come the race. Through the final corner he comes. I think this isn't going to be an improvement. Across the line he comes, and yep, it has to be third. Patrick Rozak, though, sets a purple middle sector. He is flying in the pole team, 2/10 off in the first sector, but he's got it all back in the middle, so it's down to this final run to the line. Alex, is the pole team car going to get into third on the grid, or maybe even jump both of the Multiforces? No, it has to be fourth.
Oh, that was very
my
close.
Goodness. He set an almost identical time there to land, just 1,000th of a second in it, as Micah was actually on a lap, but it's not good enough for pole. 23 thousandths of a second shy, with that final sector again being the one that let him down. So Micah, having lost a lot of ground in the championship 2 weeks ago to Andrzejewski, sees his teammate and title rival line up ahead of him on the grid, and that means the pressure is well and truly on going into the race, Alex.
Yeah, I do also see Frank Hemming, P5 in the HTP team. Very nicely done there by the Dutch driver. I think he's going to be patting himself on the back for that, for a really good qualifying session. And I think hopefully, he's going to pray for a good start, and hopefully not be part of this model up. As people can make some big mistakes in the first corner. I have seen it before with my own eyes and my own experiences. It can happen, and hopefully, I don't want to use the commentator's curse in this, but I hope there'll be no severe or big accidents in the first corner of the race.
Well, he's hoping. Brody Lawless and Philip Koenig, who both start at the back of the grid. I think Koenig has joined late and Brody's got the grid penalty. Both of them will be hearing you say that, Alex, and thinking, right, there's a pile up in front of us. It's definitely going to be Alex Hallows that gets the blame, not the drivers involved. But anyway, session ends. Everybody in the pits, so now would be a good time to look through the qualifying order. It's a Multiforce GP front row for the reigning teams and drivers champions. Just 23 thousandths of a second between Andrzejewski and Mateusz Micah, but it's Pavel Andrzejewski that starts on pole, and he'll be looking to keep that momentum going. Jesse Lattinen, 10th and a half shy in third, just beats Patrick Rozak. Rozak will be a little bit annoyed to miss out on third on the grid by just 1,000th of a second. Frank Hemming will start in fifth. A good qualifying for the HGP man, after usually it's a bit of his Achilles heel, but clearly Frank Hemming, this is a better circuit for him, one he has been practicing on quite a lot. Giuseppe Saracino gets a decent lap laid on to be just 4 thousandths behind Hemming in sixth position. Then it's Oliver Taras, who set a good lap early on, faded down to 7th by the end of the session, but still just beats Michael Falkenhayn by 2 thousandths of a second. Good qualifying from the 01 Esports driver. The German in his local race in the top 8. Scott Flack lines up 9th ahead of Menno Klont. And interesting, race 1 here will be Menno Klont's 300th Grand Prix in FS1. He's done a good 13 seasons, so this will be a huge milestone for Menno, and he starts it in the top 10. So clearly the KKR man, very, very motivated to do well here. Behind him in 11th on the grid, it should be the Hyperion of Matthias Dabrowski, or at least it would be, but it's actually Jansen Bins, of course, who beat him to 11th position on his return there. As we see, there's a race going on between the Hyperion and the Apex of Lattinen on the warm-up session there, just out the pits, as we see them continuing to wheel bang in the background, which is not distracting at all. Lucas Filin will line up in 13th in the second of our KKRs, just ahead of Vin Glenn in 14th. The final points paying position in the according to grid order will be taken up by Raymond Van Sues, the Dutchman in the MS Performance car. Philip Savinsky promoted to fill in for Team Iris from FS2. He lines up 16th with Matthias Zabinski just behind him. Then it's Davide Zanini in 18th for LEF. Maciej Gazowski in the second pole team in 19th. Victor B on his debut will round out the top 20, just a second off the pace. So that's pretty solid from the Brazilian. A good foundation to build off of there. In 21st position should be Lorenzo De Cutis The second of our team, Sheba's a little bit further back than he would like. Kakpa Mikolak will lap 22nd in the Griffon. Then it's Massimiliano Riboli, 23rd. Victor Bernat, 24th on the grid of Own Kilhausvik, 25th. Carl Magnus Bore, 26th. Osama Kanani, the last of our drivers to set a time in MS Performance. Kanani is sort of become the sort of super sub. He's even subbed in for Green Stripes in a Super League as well. Just under 2 seconds off the pace here on this occasion. Philip Koenig, a latecomer, he will line up 28 from Brody Lawless with his back of the grid penalty. Will start no better than 29th. So there we go. Almost 30 cars on the grid. So there's one team that's only fielding one car. But good luck figuring out who that is from memory. Might be Team Iris, actually, because I think I only saw Savinsky and not his teammates Gilhead or the other guy.
Very confusing names.
Not at all. It'd be Carl Mangus Bore is the driver I'm thinking of as well. I don't think it's Ten Lure and Bore. I don't know where Sven Gilhead's another former Irish driver who competes in another championship that I commentate on, which is of no relevance here. But I think we have seen Sven actually a little bit in GPVWC. So all the best to the Dutchman then. But up front then, this is really another multi-force competition. Like so many race ones we've seen so far this season. Is anybody outside of our top 15 to maybe start on the mediums, start on the hards, and do a gamble here, or is it just going to be the conventional strategy is the one of choice, and it's all just about executing it well here?
Oh, that is a good question. I think maybe a second driver might do that, like because some teams have first and second drivers, or maybe who are far behind, they might have an alternate strat. Maybe I have a slight guess, but it could be Brody Lawless who might do it, as he's starting way out the back due to a penalty, and I think with the right strat and the right time, he might be able to get from outside from the back into the points. He's doing all this last place to question mark challenge like they do in these F1 videos that they do, But yeah, hearing a lot of good stuff about Brady Laws. I think he's gonna really kick some butt out there on the track in race one. I'm trying to stay clean and friendly.
That's
so.
okay. Well, Brody won't mind because the clue is in the name, Lawless, and he has come a long way since his humble beginnings in academy, where he was very, very fast in qualifying. I remember a race here at Nurburg where he took pole position and then faded behind Jase Latin, and is one of the multi-forces, seriously dips it into the gravel out of Dunlop and is just avoided in time by Luca Filan. This has been a very hectic... Oh, was Filan... Oh! Sends the Griffon car absolutely flying into orbit. Was that Mikolak deciding to join Team Rocket there and decide to qualify for the NASA space program? I don't think that was a safe landing, but nonetheless, that Griffon will be hoping that doesn't happen to them come the race there. And yeah, Luca Filan had a massive tank slapper. I think he was just trying to use the Griffon to slow down, if anything. And now he's attacking the Team Sheba and pushing it off track. So Filan on the warpath here, maybe just getting out of his system before we get underway in earnest. There's been a lot of chat about poor behavior standards in GPV, but yeah, it's now extending on track as well, not just people posting inappropriate things in the Discord server and bullying each other.
Yeah, look, and we got Like Muna saying, "What am I watching?" And don't panic. It's only the warm up. There's nothing. It's not go now. It's just all getting there. Oh, there we go. And oh, nice synchronized spinning there from Lucas Thailand and one of the Team Sheba drivers there. That was pretty on par of synchronized there. That was brilliant. And as we see, Brody Lawless currently at P5 in the warm-up in the lap times, as we can see on our charts. As we have 4 minutes of the warm-up left to go. Showing up some pretty strong pace as well. It looks like battling one of the Team Iris cars behind. I can't really see who it is. And as we see, there is pardon me, as Brody Lawless is going kissing the gravel a bit there as we go into the nice Advenbogen and into the NGK chicane. One of the most hated chicanes in my opinion, because I'm not a big fan of it. And then into the
I
Coca-Cola
think it's
curve,
called the Vidal chicane. I think we've been calling it the wrong name, by the way.
the
But I'm
Vidal
pretty-
chicane.
Yeah, so I found a better website that seems to have more accurate, more up-to-date corner names. If you look at Brody Lawless, by the way, 1:35.5 would still have only qualified him last for the race, but of course he's put a bit more fuel on, rather than the cars would have in qualifying, in preparation for the 30-lap feature race that we're about to see here. So. Yeah, we expect Brody to do a lot of overtaking, but from the back of the grid, it's not going to be easy, especially his best strategy, I think, as you say, might be to start on the harder compound, run as long as he can, and then switch to the softs later on and try and sneak into the top 15 and get into, or maybe into the top 10, into that sort of reverse grid contention from 5th through to 10th, essentially. But yeah, could be a very, very fascinating first encounter here. By the way, since this is a tradition, I believe they do it in FS2. I don't know if they do it in FS1, but there's a sort of tradition of just talking about the team that's in the thumbnail for the race,
Yes.
which I believe for the
We do it here.
Nürburgring is the 01 Esports, of course, which is a team much like my own team, Hunter Birch Simulation, only 2 seasons old. This is their 2nd season in the sport. In 2024, they scored a total of 6 podiums in Formula Sprint 2. Some of which were in reverse grid ones, but a couple were in the features. Sene Stoffmeal was very, very competitive for them last season. But also, honourable mention to Oliver Zarka and who else but Brody Lawless, who was very, very strong. Took a podium for them in the season finale of FS2 at Interlagos, of course. And was a bit of a forward on our side, stole a podium from us, in my opinion, in that race, although Brody has since gone on to continue to outclass us, frustratingly. But nonetheless, in 2025, things have been going a little bit less smooth for them. Juho Soppinen and Tom Lafont, their drivers that started the season, both abandoning ship, but they have gained the services of Michael Falkenhayn, who was 7th in the feature race at Silverstone, of course. They also had Krista Zvilo, who had a bit of a messier time at Silverstone as well. And they've had Jesper Eriksson, I believe, who... Is Eriksson in the other car today? Or is it somebody else in the second 01? My memory.
I think Jesper Eriksson might be in the car. I'm not 100% sure. I can't see the full... It says Falkenhayn and Eriksson, according to the spreadsheet. So hopefully he is on the track today, but from my knowledge, seeing Jesper Eriksson in a few races back then, I remember seeing Jesper taking his first race in Saudi Arabia, getting P11 and P6 respectively in order in race 1 and race 2, doing really
And that
really
was
well.
after, I believe it was Eriksson that steered in, drove right into the back of someone in the pits because he thought it was like iRacing, where it drives the pit stops for you, I
Yes,
think.
yes, that is right. I think he didn't know about the how RF2 works. Bless him. So yeah, and I think I did the same too after using iRacing after a long while during the off season. So I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him at all. But he has been giving a lot of points and is showing, you know, giving some 01 Esports a lot of hope, as well as Falkenhayn, who's been doing pretty well. I haven't seen Falkenhayn drive yet because I did miss the last 2 races, unfortunately, due to my absence. And it seems to be going well for both of them as well as a team, as it seems as you said, a P7 in Silverstone last round, and hopefully I think Falkenhayn will be hoping to get some more points for the team and hopefully get that nice midfield score.
Yeah, and with only one Team Irish driver on the server as well, they're just a point behind them in the fight for 12th in the championship. There you actually see that Team Irish driver just cut the final chicane there. Oh no, I know it is. There are 2 Team Irish drivers on the server because Carl Magnus Bore has just joined the grid. So fingers crossed we should get a full 30 cars starting today at the Nürburgring then. And yeah, the 30 lap encounter coming our way should be a fascinating one. Falkenhayn, by the way, a race winner, did win race 2 this year for Mapes VO at the Turkish Grand Prix before he got the call up for 0-1 and FS1 and has sort of been replaced by Brody Lawless of all people at Mapes VO. So there's a sort of virtuous circle where all these really great drivers just end up replacing each other in the GPV ladder, it seems, as there's Osama Kanani. Is this Kanani's first start in FS1? It's certainly his first race of the season, if memory serves. But I don't remember if he's driven FS1 in previous seasons. But yeah, MS Performance could certainly do with some help. They were, with Victor Ivanov at the wheel, among others, they were able to take second or third in the championship in the team stable. At the moment, they are mired down in 9th and actually are only about 11 points ahead of 100 to 1, which shows just how tough things have been for them. Just the one podium for MS Performance, scored, of course, by Oscar Soltero, who, of course, is the resident super sub of last week, who drove in the space of 1 week, I think. He drove in all 4 of our championships, FS1, FS2, Super League, and Super Lights at both Canada and Silverstone, essentially, across those 2 weekends. And in fact, was able to do very, very well. So, yeah, definitely a star of the future there. That's the problem with creating stars of the futures. They move on very, very quickly to bigger and better things. Anyway, so session over as Frank Hamming just completes his final lap in the warm-up session. And it's really about Multiforce controlling things at the front, and then it's going to be surely Frank Hamming and Jesse Lattin and Patrick Rozak and Frank Hamming all contesting over that final podium spot, especially Lattin and Rozak being so closely matched in qualifying. It's going to be interesting to see which of them is better come the race, because I think Rozak will feel he was much stronger in the middle sector. It was just the first and final ones that he messed up there. So yeah, Rozak, I think, is very much in with a shout of stealing the podium away from Apex Grand Prix here.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be ready anytime soon. It looks like all the cars are in the pits, I think. I think they're running on one more driver. It's not. Oh, there we go. Dabrowski's back in the server, going up to 29 drivers now. Because I did see it was down to 28, and we did seem to miss a driver just then. And I think that we're just waiting for confirmation that we got all the drivers in, and we'll be heading over to the race. Well, the feature race, that is. And it looks like there's a car flying in the air in the garage, as you can see, just in the horizon. I don't know what's happening in there, and I really don't want to know.
I like a confirmation. That sounds a little bit like a really bad Terminator ripoff.
I say it like that all the time.
You've been confirminated. Come with me if you want to start the race. Well, there we go then. So, race 1 here at the Nurburgring, round 9 about to get underway. Faiz Youngster says, Kanani P1, oh my goodness. And Lucas Murno says, here to see Victor B in action, because of course Murno representing the Brazilian faction of Grand Prix Virtual as well. So good to see them all cheering each other on. The Super Lights winner, Lucas Murno, of course. Lloyd Money was asking for replays of Tylin making Kappa Mikolak do break dances down the back straight. To be fair, if you watch FS2, Sandeep Singh did a similar thing to Christian Glamsetter, and which was a little bit controversial. Glamsetter went around like a spinning top, but yeah, it was one of those things where I think it was just a little bit of a misjudgment from Sandeep, in my opinion. But we'll see. It might not even be reported. We'll see what the stewards say, of course, if Sandeep gets to keep that podium then. As we're about to see the grid populate. And yeah, of course, as I said, 300th Grand Prix in Formula Sprint 1 for Menno Klont, who, of course, last year, didn't he, got that memorable win at Imola, which was his first win in, I think, 7 years or something like that. It was a big deal for him. He was very emotional after it. And although this season he's been respectable rather than spectacular, sort of backing up Luca Filin, he's not quite had the success under his belt that his teammates had. As we see the formation lap get underway, I was just looking, Menno has gotten a best result this season of 8th, sorry, which he achieved in the second race at Indianapolis. So the grid underway. Now's the time to talk you through how they all line up, just to remind ourselves. Oh, okay. Now, there we go, finally. So Pavel Andrzejewski and Mateusz Majka, it's an all Motorforce front row with Jase Lattinen and Patrick Rozak making up row 2. On row 3, it will be Frank Hamming and Giuseppe Saracino in the Team Sheeper with Oliver Tarras and Michael Falkenhayn making up row 4. On row 5, it's Australia's very own Scott Flack from Australian team KKR with Menno Klont at the wheel. Mateusz Dabrowski and Lucas Violin make up row 6. Vin Glenn and Raymond van Soest make up row 7. Then it's Philip Savinsky and the returning Jansen Bintz populating row 8. On row 9, it will be Mateusz Zabinski and Davide Zanini. And row 10, rounding out the top 20, will be Matthias Gazowski and Victor B making his debut for Overpower. On row 11 will be Lorenzo De Cutis and Kakma Mikulak, followed by row 12, which of course is Massimiliano Riboli and Victor Bernat for LEF. On row 13 will be Owen Kilhausvik, followed by Carl Magnus Bore. On row 14 will be Osama Kanani making his FS1 debut with Philip Koenig alongside him. Finally, last but very much not least, will be Brodie Lawless looking to make his way up the field from 29th on the grid then. So it looks like we will start the exact same number of cars that qualify. But interestingly, Carl Magnus Bore, I think despite not seeing a lap in qualifying, will start 26th due to the grid penalties for Kanani, Koenig and Lawless.
Oh, yep, I'm back. Sorry, yep.
Sorry, just checking you were still with us, Alex. There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello. Sorry, I was just doing something in the background.
It's a race about to start, dear boy. You don't want to miss it.
I know. You're just doing the grid, so I had time.
Yeah,
just
true,
about.
that's true. I could have babbled a bit longer about my favorite color or something like that, but I didn't think people would be that interested. Anyway, Lawless will take up the final spot on the grid. Will he? How far up can the 100-to-1 driver get? Of course, last time out that he was driving, he finished 2nd and 5th, but it will have to be quite a strategy play to gain places, especially with that tight first hairpin awaiting them all. So easy for somebody to lose their front wing and compromise their race, and it's a long one, 30 laps by FS1 standards anyway. It's a blink of an eye for Super League, which I'm used to now. But anyway, Andrzejewski and Majka on the front row waiting for the red lights to illuminate, and then action will get underway here for round 9 of the FS1 Championship in 2025. The lights about to go out now, and we are underway at the Nurburg ring, and it's a brilliant launch off the line from Andrzejewski. Majka defending from Lattinen and Rozak, but Rozak is trying to go up the inside of the apex. Just in front of him, Lattinen holds on, and we see Scott Flack has made a lightning getaway side by side with Menno Klont in the fight for 8th, right behind Oliver Tarras. Michael Falkenhayn, though, has fallen down to 10th as we look at Riboli, who sees, oh, is that a move up the inside from Brodie Lawless, who has gained 4 positions. He's going for a 5th, and round goes Mikulak. And it's that Mikulak, and I think Brodie actually got caught up in that around the outside. So, yeah, backfiring horribly for Brodie Lawless, and that is a dangerous starting at the back. You've got an incident happening right in front of you, and here comes another one because it's side by side. It's Falkenhayn fighting to stay in the top 10 here. He's got Jansen Bintz all over him, and he now makes a move on Menno Klont, but Klont holds on round the outside through Dunlop and now into the Schumacher S. Jansen Bintz reasserts himself at what I guess is technically Jansen Bintz's home Grand Prix, given it's the closest one to Luxembourg. And now Vin Glenn fancies a piece of Michael Falkenhayn. So Falkenhayn is just losing momentum on this first lap. Round the outside goes Vin Glenn to complete the move into the bit curve.
And yeah, there we go. That's the Team Iris car. Look, I think they're both fighting each other
Kavinsky.
here.
Whoa!
Whoa, there's another.
Hyperion stop.
Yeah, it looks like someone stopped in the back.
Dabrowski just came to a screeching halt. Before.
Yeah, Dabrowski's going down now, down the order. I don't know what's happened there. It could be a hardware
issue. Almost
issue.
looked like a disconnect into Vidal there.
Or yeah, it could be.
Had a major screen freeze, but yeah, Dabrowski's now back at the grid along with Gazowski at the moment there. So we see fighting continuing on here. Luca Filan dueling away with Scott Flack, but it's his teammate Klont that is dueling away with Janssen Bintz here to try and stay in the top 10. It's Janssen Bintz that's finally gotten through then. And now he's going to chase after the second KKR, who's being held up a little bit here by Scott Flack. All of the top 15, unsurprisingly, on the sauce, but Zabinski has just cleared Carl Magnus Bore. Bore in trouble. He's dropping positions like a stone, and that puts Matthew Zabinski, our highest medium runner, in 15th place. The only other driver on mediums is Kanani. Gazowski has made it to the pit entry, I believe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mad start. I did see a few drivers going onto the gravel. Dabrowski has DNF. It looks like disconnection or hardware error that caused that DNF, unfortunately. And yeah, Gazowski's in the pit lane. Brody Lawless is going to be, scratching his head on this one and say, like, that start was not what I expected, and it's going to be back to the drawing boards for him as well.
Is that Gazowski getting a new front wing there? So he potentially got involved in some contact early doors. But yeah, Pavel Andrzejewski continuing to lead out front, by the way, in the middle of lap 2. He's half a second ahead of Mateusz Majka with Latin and Rozak, keeping them very honest. We've had no real moves in the top 6, to be honest. It's all been sort of 7th onwards where all the carnage has been. But yeah, Luca Filan now starting to line up Scott Flack. But Flack has been really delivering for Overpower last couple of rounds, isn't he? He was a bit unlucky in terms of getting a penalty in the reverse grid race at Silverstone because he was leading that one. And there's a sense that Scott Flack, who did get third in the reverse grid at Montreal, but has been a bit unlucky, and he's had more bad luck there because up the inside goes Filan, who's now released into 8th position there. So that's good news for Matthew McKinnon and KKR as Filan, the Super Swede, is on the move.
Yeah, it looks like Flack is also going to be threatened by Janssen Bintz, who's at 10th place, looking to get breakthrough the top 10. Well, more than top 10, as I would say. As we see, they're still close by. A bit of a train is kind of being squeezed here. But meanwhile, as you said, there is not much happening at the top. Andrzejewski has a very massive gap and is looking very comfortable at the moment. And with Latin just nearly a second behind of Mateusz Majka, so it's going to be a bit quiet, I think, at the top for now, unless something happens, last second when it comes to strat wise. But it looks like it's going to be some midfield battles that we're going to be mainly looking at the moment. As I'm still looking around, looking at any other close encounters that are coming up. But at the moment, it looks to be a big old fight between Scott Flack and Janssen Bintz.
Yep, and Janssen Bintz then can see Scott Flack. Always he just fishtails it out of the Vidal chicane then and into Coca-Cola corner. They come to complete lap number 4. Latinen, fastest final sector of anybody. It's Sauchino, who is setting purples in the middle sector as well. So our front runners are starting to get a bit of a hurry up here. And it'll be interesting to see if Multiforce are going to try and extend the stint here and work together, or if it's every man for himself in the title race as Dekutis is trying to get into the top 15. Zabinski on the harder compounded tire is holding up the Team Sheba driver, Lorenzo Dekutis, who has won races earlier this season, trying to get the Team Sheba machine into the top 15. He's got another good run on the RTL straight, round the outside into forward curve he goes, and yeah, Zabinski had to be quite cooperative there to avoid an incident. So Dekutis is into the points. That's exactly what he needed, because Falkenhayn, there's a bit of a train forming behind Zabinski at this phase, and he wants to escape that as quickly as possible. Now Riboli fancies a run, but he's got Carl Magnus Bore and Victor B all over the back of Brie is a type of cheese. I don't know why I was calling Victor after cheese there, where he's just Victor B. But yeah, he has been very, very consistent here, holding off Zanini. And yeah, we'll have to see if Zabinski holding this train up is going to create any opportunities for those behind to make a move on each other. But yeah, Zabinski very much the cork in the bottle, and the only one near the front who is doing a different strategy in terms of starting on the hards, which he of course was allowed to do because he qualified outside the top 15, of course, as lap 5 is completed. Andrzejewski's starting to extend that gap a little bit to Mateusz Majka as they're all matching each other up front, but Latin and Rozak starting to lose a little bit of ground here.
It looks to be very close between all the drivers at the moment. Still again,
Oh,
midfield order seems to
Zanini.
be Zanini looking to take a little late break here, going around the inside. It looks like he seems to make it stick, and has done it. Yep, against the Brazilian overpowered driver, and it's going to be P19 for now. And I think it's going to be. They've still got another climb to do. I think going into the points. I think it's first points for the season as well, if I'm right. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really checked
the Zanini's
Yes, it is.
second drive of the season, isn't it? So yeah, he's
Yep.
he just finished just outside the points, so yet to score in 2025. But great to see the Italian returning and making a good move on the inexperienced Victor B, who now sees Philip Koenig in the Griffon closing on the back of him, and he's bringing Owen Kilhausvik to the party as well. So be interested to see if the 100 to 1 has got anything in the back pocket. Yellow in the first sector, so somebody further down the pack has hit trouble. It's Gazowski driving a severely damaged car. I suspect that Nexium pole team is not going to last too much longer in the race with it. The rear toe looked like it was completely whacked out there, so potentially after pitting for repairs, he had another incident here, Alex.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a bit of a replay here, see what happens as we go into the first corner. Hopefully nothing too bad. Oh, bit of a spin. Oh, going nice bit of drifting there by by Gazowski as well. Very interesting. Shame he won't get some extra points for that. It seems to be a tire problem. It keeps spinning.
He's overheated the tires, I think, and there's a bit of frustration creeping in.
And
it's a shame for the man who finished on the podium at the Verse Grid at Istanbul earlier this season. He's really had a massive dip in form lately, and it's nothing really has been going right for Nexium pole team in recent history. So he's got to hope that Rozak can bring home a podium at the end of this. He's still within a second of Latinen, but not quite close enough to challenge at the present moment as we cut back to the Malta forces and Andrzejewski continuing to control things up front. Well, what would this do in the championship for those interested? That would be another gain of 5 points for Andrzejewski, so the gap will go from 20 points to 15 going into race 2. So that would be very, very exciting for the Andrzejewski camp, and very, very nervous for the Mateusz Micah camp. So there'll be the temptation here for Micah to maybe pit early and try and undercut Andrzejewski to get track position and try and defend later on.
Yeah, it's been very strong so far for both Multiforce drivers. The gap between the two has been fairly large, but it seems to be still very consistent between the two. I don't think I want to do anything too reckless to lose their to damage their constructors' hopes as well, as they're currently leading the constructors' championship, as well as they're both also very comfortable, both in the lead, top 2 in the drivers' championship, like you said earlier, and it seems they seem to be taking it easy, and it seems Latinen doesn't seem to be much of a threat just yet. It's still to be just about a second or over, as well as Rozak and Hamming, who I think are also comfortable where they are. So it's going to be like I said earlier, it's going to be a fairly quiet round in the top. But it looks like Saracino is slowly gaining on Frank Hamming. Just saw it getting very close between the two drivers. As I'm just looking at the times there, you can see how very close Saracino is to Hamming, and we could see maybe some threatening moves here soon on the HGP driver.
Yeah, Oliver Tarras not far behind either. I was just noticed there was a comment in chat there, and I was hoping it'd be something nice, but it's Alfie Denley writing an insult, so I'm not going to read that out, which is a typical Alfie Denley, quite frankly. But anyway, Lorenzo De Cutis sets a personal best lap of the race, 1:35.7, as he tries to chase down Falkenhayn for that 14th position. So De Cutis, now he's been unleashed, is starting to set competitive lap times, and Saracino, similarly, his teammate, starting to really up the pressure as well. In fact, he's just overtaken Falkenhayn going into the Vidal chicane there. So Falkenhayn continues to drop like a stone here as De Cutis is flying. Next target, Filip Zawinski in the Team Iris.
Yeah, not very good stuff from Falkenhayn at the moment. It looks like a few drivers also down at the bottom. I mean, De Cutis did have a very rough qualifying session. I think it was like just out of the top 20 as well. and I think he's slowly making the
21st,
recovery for
you're
that.
right.
Yeah, just 21st in qualifying, so not a very strong session from him. And hopefully, I think making a recovery for that is now in the points. So very well done there for Lorenzo. And I think Valkenhayn is going to be hopefully praying no more overtakes from anyone behind him. But it looks like so far he can breathe a sigh of relief for now. Maybe just stick behind to Lorenzo just to maybe just stay comfortable. And it looks like Taras has caught up with Saracino as well for the fight for P6. As is still as a bit of a gap between all those drivers from 5th to 7th. And it looks like Taras is going to make a statement on this track very soon.
Yeah, he did. Like I said, he qualified a little bit out of position, but he's now solidly in the fight. And if he can clear Saracino and Hamming fairly quickly, he could potentially catch up to Latin and Rosat, help Latin and his teammate out in that podium battle. But there's only so much he can do when he is stuck behind Saracino and Hamming here. And of course, both of them really, really top drivers. Saracino's taken a couple of podiums in his career. Frank Hamming has taken a number of wins, very, very experienced for HTP. And has qualified a lot better than he normally does. Typically, he's one of those drivers who races a lot better than he qualifies, but qualifying has given him less work to do on this occasion. He certainly seems, given that he's third in the championship, Frank Hamming has seemed a lot stronger than he has in some previous seasons where he's left a lot of points on the table. As we see Brody Lawless at the back of the grid making a pit stop. A very early pit stop, it must be said. So this must be Brody gambling on the harder compound, and indeed it is, as he is going to get the 100-1 out of the exit of the pit lane here. So this is Brody Lawless surely trying to go to the end, 21 laps on the medium or harder compound tyre here. Can Brody do that? Is that realistic? Or is he going to be just really struggling at the end? The other problem is, if he nurses them now, he's not going to get the benefit of the undercut. So he's sort of got to push like crazy.
Yeah, I think for now, with these tyres being cold from the start of this stint, he's gonna maybe just push for now a bit, and then maybe calm it down as the laps just go on, so he can just nurse them into the end. Maybe not have too much, push too much as well during the mid stint, or maybe the latter stages of the stint, and hopefully he just staying consistency might get him a podium. Not a podium, points, I mean, sorry. That would be impressive if he gets a podium. Gee whiz, my mind.
He has done it before. He's done it in Montreal, of course.
Yeah,
he qualified a lot better on that occasion on the front row. So, yeah, that does tend to help. But yeah, Brody Lawless is certainly, he has worked some miracles so far this season, especially in FS2 for the Mopes VO team, and earlier for Reading Game as well. Before Mopes VO sort of swept him up in a whirlwind romance, of course. But yeah, nonetheless, Micah, by the way, much faster than Andrzejewski at that last lap, 3/10 quicker. So Micah's staying in the 1:35.8s, but the others are dipping into the 36s around him here. So they've got a 2-second gap to Latinen emerging. Andrzejewski all of a sudden is looking a little bit vulnerable here. Has he been pushing a little bit hard in this first stint on the softs to keep Micah out of DRS range? Because now Micah is starting to look like the driver a bit more pace in here. Could we be about to be seeing a pit stop here for the lead Multiforce?
I think so. Maybe there could be some fighting happening soon, or maybe a driver position swap from the team boss. But I highly doubt that's going to happen, as they're both fighting for the championship.
Jutis in trouble because Falkenhayn and Zabinski have both gotten through. There we go. Zabinski, of course, on the harder compound tyre as well. So very costly area there for Lorenzo De Cutis. I think he might have tried to make a move on Zabinski that ended quite spectacularly badly for him there. I have to see if there's a replay available or not. But either way, Micah still half a second now behind Andrzejewski, as this is what happened to De Cutis. And yet you can see, does he just go too deep into Dunlop, Alex?
As we see, a bit of a hard brake, and I think it's on the curb as well. Too much of a curb on the brake, and it seems to have done a bit of a nice to keep it out the gravel. Otherwise, it'll be a bit of a rough day for the choosers, and maybe a change of tires early as well if that was going to happen, because it's not very. Just looking at on the other bit, and there goes Vin Glenn overtaking Janssen Bint. I can't see which corner that is. It looks like a Mercedes.
Mercedes, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it looks like
Jansen Bintz has run out of tyres here because you saw Menno Klont, while watching replay, just breezed past him down the main straight into the first corner. And then Vin Glenn immediately took advantage. And now it's Filip Savinski in the Team Iris car trying... Oh, look at the rear end, stepping out all over the place. So Bintz, while he's been away, he seems to have unlearned some of that tyre saving that he was a bit of a strength of his. Jansen Bintz, very, very quick over a single lap, as we've seen. But his tyre preservation on the softs, a little bit cagey. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pixel 8 is heading for the pit entry before too long. But Jansen has to survive this in-lap first, and the rears are crying enough.
Yeah, it looks like sorry, Jansen Bintz is going to be saving his tyres at that break, and with Filip Savinski braking a bit later than Jansen as well. Maybe Jansen braking a little earlier, saying, "I don't want to fight this guy. My tyres are absolutely screwed at this point," and hopefully maybe going in now for a change of tyres. He seems to be sliding around like a roller skater as Jansen Bintz goes into the nearly does what I did as well around this circuit, and manages safely
Glenn in as well
into the pits. And yes, Vin Glenn is in the pits. It seems the Tutus is in the pits as well as Massimiliano Riboli. Just looking down at the the charts, and it looks like a few drivers are going in. I think there's a bit of a problem for Riboli. Riboli's now waiting for Jansen Bintz.
Oh dear, so a miscommunication at Pixel 8. As always, see a freeway fight here. Zanini, Carl Magnus Bore, and Philip Koenig. Koenig trying to go around the outside of Bore. They clang wheels into turn 5, sorry, I should say, on the straight towards RTL there. And Bore will feel he got sort of bruised out of the way, and Philip Koenig definitely getting the claws out today, and he's got to, because otherwise Griffone have got a very slim chance of scoring points here. So let's look at how things have worked out here, because a number of drivers have pit in the last couple of laps. Osama Kanani, I think, started on the hards and has yet to pit, but Vin Glenn, I believe, is the leader of those who pit. Then it's Decutis, Bintz, Brody Lawless, who's been setting low 36s on the fresher, harder compound tire, Raymond Van Soest, Riboli, who lost time in the pits, Falkenhayn, who pit a lap earlier, Victor B, and then Victor Burnett. So the two Victors at the back of both pit. Micah pits from second with Jesse Lattinen and Saracino. So it is Mateusz Micah that is pulling the trigger in response to what we've just seen, trying to put the pressure on Andrzejewski here. And this has got to be a brilliant outlet for Micah to snatch a lead.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a strat call, I think, most likely from Micah himself. And hopefully, when Andrzejewski goes into the pits, Mike could be, after the end of this lap, just to make the change as well. And there's all the other drivers coming out. Jesse Lattinen, Giuseppe Saracino, and from behind as well, looks like other drivers, and seeming to come out of the pit lane after a nice swap of fresh tyres. And it looks like everyone seems to be doing fine at the moment. Maybe taking it easy for the cold tyres or going hard just to get it warmed up. But it looks like Brody Lawless is making a good comeback, going up to P19. It looks like Zanini has lost a bit and has gone down to P20.
Yeah, I think Zanini may have just pit, yes. So that's how Lawless...
Oh, that's why. Never mind then.
So there we go. But nonetheless, Brody's done well to undergate. He's lapping in the low 36s, as I say. So that's faster than a lot of the leaders that have stayed out on the softs, with the exception of Menno Klont, who bangs in a 135.8. So maybe a bit of DRS. No, he's about 3.4 seconds behind Scott Flackers. In comes Andrzejewski, and he had to respond there. 32.1 in the first sector, 39.4 in the middle. Let's look at Micah, 53, of course, in the first sector, but 38.9. Actually slightly slower in this middle sector, so it's got to be an amazing final sector here for Micah to take the lead, but Andrzejewski knows he may have just done enough here. Let's see.
So it seems to be quite a fast pit stop at the moment. Oh, there goes an HGP driver. Looks like Frank Hamming nearly going into... from that angle, looked like it's going to go into the back of Andrzejewski, and that would have been a bit of an accident and a half. Rojak going ahead of Hamming as well, that pit stop, and looks like Andrzejewski is going to be ahead of Micah. He seems to have done so well, but it looks like Frank Hamming. Oh, there's a touch! Oh, there's a touch between Saracino and Hamming. Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, Hamming was coming out the pits. Saracino was still on track and was sort of turning in from the outside. Hamming sort of showed his nose up the inside and sort of clumsily spun Saracino around. So that, to me, felt what we call in go-karting a bump and pass there. So a little bit clumsy from Frank Hamming, and I think Saracino would not have been expecting that one. So Taras is the only one of our leaders on the softs who's yet to pit, who's staying out in that Apex car. Then we've got Zabinski, who started on the hards and is about 3 seconds. No, he's only right ahead. There we go. Decutis trying to go back up the inside of Zabinski here, and he's got Janssen Bintz now, but with some fresh tires. The hards right behind him here. Zabinski defending hard into Dunlop. Is Decutis going to go right up the inside? Yes, he is, and Janssen Bintz follows through immediately in a sort of carbon copy maneuver, not hanging around. Is the Pixel 8 driver. As there we go. So Bintz and Decutis now in the back end of the points here. But yeah, Andrzejewski being a bit held up by Zabinski. As in comes Oliver Taras. Are we about to see Zabinski pit as well? Because Andrzejewski is being backed into Micah here.
Yeah, that was a very clean move by Decutis, and very clever Janssen Bintz to join, just to keep that slipstream behind Decutis as well, just to also pass Zabinski. And it seems to be... Oh, nice pass, reckless passer.
That's Zabinski let them through.
Yeah,
because he knows he's not got the tyres to fight them. As we see Taras now passing Saracino around the outside. Saracino tries to hold on around the outside. And look at this. Lucas Phelan now shows his nose up the inside into Mercedes-Benz Arena. Big dive on the brakes from the KKR. Can the Super Swede get through past Taras? Yes, he can. Taras outfoxed there. He tried to go for Saracino and ended up losing out rather than gaining a position there. But what you saw there from Matej Zabinski was that he was holding up Andrzejewski, and then he let Andrzejewski and Micah through at the same time. So Micah didn't really suffer at all in all of that there. The Hyperion driver absolutely playing into his hands. So I guess Polska Gorom, as the Poles would say, that all there's maybe Zabinski likes his fellow Mateus rather than Pavel a little bit more. Who knows? But yeah, Andrzejewski now only 3/10 in the lead here, or just 6/10 now, as we see in the live timing on the left at half distance. So Micah might be gearing up for an attack in a couple of laps' time if he can get the DRS down the main straight here. But yes, it looks like Latinen now. Whoa,
oh my goodness me!
Oh, huge
that
collision.
was not planned. That's
and
gonna
through
be...
goes Rozak. So again, a Polish driver for the Polish team takes advantage of Zabinski tangles there with Latinen, and difficult to see. I think Latinen was going around the outside. It was a risky move around the outside, but I don't think illegitimate. I think maybe Zabinski should have given that one up. Frank Hamming is going to dive up the inside, and Zabinski very, very wisely this time stays out of trouble. But the rear tires are done on the Hyperion. This strategy is not working out as hoped, I think. He's just trying to get another 4 laps in so he can put the softs on.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Zabinski's staying out still, and you know, like you said, it could be able to put the softs on so he can do a stint on softs for the rest of the race. But that was I don't know what was happening here. I don't know what the both drivers were thinking at this corner. Here we go, looking around here, and it looks like it looks like Zabinski just went right into Latinen.
I think Latinen going around the outside before he had the move done. For Zabinski's tires are done, he's not still going to be there on the inside. Unfortunately, he was still there. So yes, could Zabinski have gone out of this one? He knows Latinen is coming around the outside. He sort of moves to the middle of the road. Oh, he has a moment. Oh, he just lost control there. So it wasn't deliberate from Matej Zabinski. I do apologize there. The 44 just losing it under braking on severely worn tires. They look like a chewing gum at the moment in the baking track surface. 44 degrees. And Zabinski is just hemorrhaging time here in the 142 last lap with the leaders in the 135s.
Yeah, it seems to be a...
and through goes Flack.
Oh, yeah, there he goes, Ocus Flag. It looks like Zabinski's now letting everyone through. There he goes. Finally going in for some new tyres. Took a bit of a while. Took a bit of drama as well. Which, just seeing some comments. Someone says, has anyone told Falcon him that in a race you're meant to be going forwards?
All love though. That's
all the love though. Yeah, a bit of banter on the track there.
Yeah, Falkenhayn down in 24th at the moment, fighting with Raymond van Soest. But yeah, to be fair, I think Falkenhayn really struggled on the soft. His lap time's 137s, high 137s at the moment, low 137s, I should say. Where is Brody Lawless? Lawless is actually, I say just outside the points. He's about 5.3 seconds behind Kanani, so in the final points position. But Lawless is lapping in the 136s. He's just ahead of Philip Koenig, who's actually lapping about 8 tenths quicker than him behind. But yeah, they are both catching Asami Kanani, who's yet to pit at a rate of knots. So Brody Lawless is in a net points-paying position here, and that would be a fantastic recovery. He can pull that off. Andrzejewski, by the way, has set the fastest lap of the race, but only slightly faster than Micah in a bid to escape his teammate here. But of course, with that collision for Latinen with the Hyperion, that means that it's a 5.5 second to Rozak in third there. So yeah, Multiforce are not really going to worry about anybody else. Micah and Andrzejewski should be free to race and free to contest that lead of the championship, as we see another fastest lap from Andrzejewski into the high 134s.
Yeah, take a break. You're right there. Just losing your voice a bit. There we go.
Yeah, sorry. I did have a glass of wine
yeah.
before this one. I think maybe.
Oh, of course. That's not a problem. Yeah, Pavel Andrzejewski still going very strong ahead at the moment. Just nearly ahead by nearly a second now. Matisse Mike is still wanting to gain closing that gap to make a move. We're still still got time for it. Lap 18 out of 30, so over 10 laps to go. I just look from earlier. There was Koenig pressuring Brody Lawless as well, who with Lawless currently P16, who we just saw, and just looking down further in the grid, Oliver Taras now have to make up a lot after that big incident with Zabinski.
It was Latinen that hit Zabinski, wasn't it?
Oh, Latinen and Zabinski. My apologies. Yeah, and now Latinen now needs to recover that P3 from Rozak somehow, and it looks like that gap's not going to be coming down. It seems to be slowly going down and up. So
could be some damage on the Apex car as well. We can't forget that. But yeah,
that is true.
Is matching Rozak at the moment, but he was 2 tenths slower in the middle sector. Yeah, so I suspect the Apex might be nursing some damage there. Menno Klont, we keep ignoring Menno, but Menno sets a purple middle sector here as he's just set a personal best. He is absolutely flying as he tries to catch Scott Flack. Same tire life between the two as well. So yeah, Menno really on a charge in his 300th Grand Prix in Formula Sprint 1. And yeah, him and his teammate Luca Filin solidly in the top 10. So this could be a good red letter day for KKR, who are 5th in the points and trying to catch HGP, who have only really got Frank Hamming in 5th ahead of them. But Hamming is holding off Saracino and Filin. So yeah, Filin is very much in the thick of things. Saracino now is starting to get things back together. 3 tenths quicker than Hamming the previous lap there. So there's a fight for 5th and a fight for the lead, which is very entertaining as Osama Kanani finally pits off the hard tyre, which promotes Brody Lawless into the points. And it could be interesting to see whether Lawless can hold off Philip Koenig. Koenig in his home race, desperate to get a good result from this season. It's been pretty brutal for Philip Koenig. Let's see where he is in the championship so far. I think Koenig is 36th in the points. He had 10th place in the feature race at Silverstone last time out, but otherwise he's got a load of retirements and a load of non-point scoring finishes to his name outside of the top 17 actually. So yeah, Koenig on a bit of an upswing in form, but he's got the fearsome Brody Lawless to overcome here. Lawless is not going to make this easy.
Yeah, I think what some drivers are going to be praying for after the race is to have that sprint race pole, and depending where it's going to land this time, we don't know yet. But it is. I wish it will be from P15. Otherwise, Lawless will be one happy driver at this moment. And there seems to be a penalty for Glenn.
That must be track limits.
Screen. Yeah, it looks like a track limits for Vin Glenn. That's really unfortunate. I don't know what sort of penalty that is. It didn't really specify what it is. I'm just looking at the replay. It could most likely be a drive-through. Yeah, it could be something like that. I agree. I'm just looking at Oliver Taras there, closing in on Filin at 7th place.
But that's going to sacrifice 11th place to Decutis. So Vin Glenn has lost out quite badly there in that, if that is the case. Micah, by the way, did set a purple final sector that previous lap. The gap's still 8/10 to Andrzejewski. And this is Glenn. Is it just the chicane where he exits track limits? Let's see how this goes wrong. Into the braking zone. Oh, he has to miss the corner, and he doesn't slow down enough. There we go. There's a yellow flag somewhere out track. I think Kilhausvik is in trouble because he's dropping down the order to 24th.
Oh, I did say that chicane can be a bit of a pen in the backside. I did warn people about it. They never listen. They never listen to the commentators, but
well, they can't because they've got to focus on driving.
Of course, yeah.
So
imagine.
This is Owen going wide at Mercedes-Benz Arena. Oh, and spinning as he tries to rejoin there. Lucky he didn't get collected by the LEF as he did the spin turn there. Micah, by the way, has taken the lead. Andrzejewski's fallen to 4th. I've been watching his replays. 5th, actually. Oh, big mistake, Andrzejewski.
Oh, no!
Oh, my goodness.
The front wing's off. The front wing's off.
A huge mistake at bit curve. So under pressure, Andrzejewski got on the curb and had a huge impact with the wall, and he's had to pit for a new front wing here. So let's ride on board with Pavel. Talk us through this one, Alex.
Yeah, it looks like he's done that corner. I think he just went on the curb and too much power on the curb as well, and too much off that curb. One of those three, and it seems to have lost control there. I've done it many times in my career, and seems to have lost the last wing as a result. That's going to be out the points as well. That's twice as painful. He's got a lot of work to do in the last 10 laps of this race. Let's see what Pavel does.
Yeah, has he kept the same tyres on? Around the outside comes Victor B and Victor Bernat all over the back of him, but Andrzejewski holds them both at bay. I think Andrzejewski's kept the same tyres that he had on. So, yeah, he's just thought, have a shorter stop, just change the front wing and get back out there. But that's a hugely costly error, and that could be a pivotal moment in this FS1 championship because that's handed things right into the lap of Mateusz Micah there.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. As we don't see anything much happening on our screens at the moment, Mateusz Micah has settled in really well with Multiforce GP and the FS1 car. I mean, it's his debut season in FS1 overall, and it's been doing really, really well. And now, well, more than really well. I mean, he's leading the championship, and now just set a new best lap time of 1:34.4, as we're just over halfway of the season. And I think Micah could maybe get a seat to Superlights if he's, I don't want to be a bad curse here or anything, but Micah is on his way for a Superlights seat if he keeps carrying on with this top job that he's doing so far.
Yeah, I think he might want to see if he can win the FS1 title before he starts thinking about Superlights. But yeah, we are at the half distance, but still quite a way to go. But yeah, Micah certainly doing a fantastic job despite marginally losing out on pole position by a narrow margin. He has put the pressure onto Andrzejewski, forced him into a mistake, and Andrzejewski has got it all to do. It's going to be difficult in these last 8 laps for him to get into the points, so he has just passed Michael Falkenhayn for 20th position, as we see Saracino stuck behind Frank Hamming in what is now the battle for 4th position with the unfortunate demise of Andrzejewski. Victor Bernat, by the way, has just passed Victor B for 20 seconds. So the battle of the victors is in full swing as we see yellow in the first sector and Taras. Victor B continues to lose positions, must have had a big problem there. But yeah, Taras is at the back of this train, not quite able to clear Filin, but Filin is just about getting DRS from the back of Saracino, who's getting DRS from the back of Frank Hamming. So there's a big Hamming train here that's developing, and in fact, they're not too far away from Rozak and Latinen now, who both find themselves, of course, on the podium. As we see, Andrzejewski did actually switch to the soft tyres. It was the game not updating, so unsurprisingly, he's starting to set purple sectors here as he tries to steal the final couple of points. So that's more bad news for Brody Lawless, who's now up to 14th, but now he's got not only Koenig on 5-lap fresher tyres, but Andrzejewski, who's going to be flying through the field as quickly as possible here, and he's got 7 more laps to go.
I just want to correct you. Sorry. These cars don't have DRS.
They don't.
They have push to pass
Again,
instead.
Super League commentator, yeah.
Yes. You got your Super League mind still.
I might have been because I commentated on FS1 last season where they did have DRS. So.
Yeah, they changed the car a lot, and they're changing it a lot next year, which we can't say a lot now. But Yeah, look, it seems. Anyways, back into the action.
Good.
Sorry.
Say as little as possible, or maybe even nothing at all about next year's car, please, Alex.
Yeah.
You
I
wanna
won't
keep
say
it in
anything. I
suspense.
won't say anything.
Yeah,
My
meanwhile, Andrzejewski has clawed past Van Soest and Magnus Boro. I've been watching this. He's right behind Zabinski now and continuing to set purple first sectors as Filin. Not really making any progress here as Taras keeps the pressure on. But yeah, you can see Saracino now is really got turned on the magnets, but Hamming is now starting to set personal best middle sectors to match here. And yeah, the closer Andrzejewski gets to the points here, the more excited he gets. There's a 2-second gap between Koenig and Zanini, though, to get there. So Andrzejewski can't afford to lose too much time behind Zabinski here. Remember, it was only a few minutes ago, Zabinski was the one holding him up, and now history seems to have repeated itself. Not part of Zabinski's game plan, of course. He probably wasn't expecting to see Pavel Andrzejewski again, but yet here he is after that off and loss of front wing that's proved incredibly costly and giving him a lot of work to do. Zabinski also on the soft tyres as well, so he won't be as easy because he's only done 2 laps on them as well. So he'll be a little bit tougher to pass than those who are on the hards.
Yeah, Zabinski is slowly climbing up, climbing up.
I say that Andrzejewski's just passed him for 17th.
Yep. Yeah, and
Andrzejewski not too difficult.
Yeah, it looks like Andrzejewski's going to have a hard climb. Time's now running out, I think, for the driver now with 7 laps to go. And it looks like Micah's comfortably in first place if nothing goes wrong. I don't want to curse him with all the with all the stuff. As we see, 9 seconds ahead. Looks like he's going to be lapping. Oh no, that's Andrzejewski. Sorry, not Micah. As we, I was just talking about Micah. That's why. As we see Andrzejewski behind Davide Zanini. Driving for LEF Racing.
Look at Andrzejewski. He's taking 2 seconds a lap out of these guys at the moment, so it's very likely he is going to sneak into the last couple of points here. He can maybe catch an 8-second gap between Lawless and Zawinski. He's probably going to catch Koenig and Lawless. But yeah, passing Brody Lawless, even on very old tyres, could be quite a challenge here. As Andrzejewski, look how much more grip he has through the Schumacher S's. There's a brief yellow in the middle sector. He's going to try and go around the outside of the LEF. This is dangerous. This is where he came off track before. The LEF leaves a bit of room up the inside, and Andrzejewski is through there. As you see, up the road, Lawless defending like crazy from Philip Koenig. And now it's going to be a freeway party because Andrzejewski is coming for them.
Yeah, that's an amazing move there by Andrzejewski, and nicely, safely done by both drivers. So well played on both drivers to keeping that safe there. No harm done by on their cars by the looks of things, and everyone's now on their way. It looks like Zabinski's going to be having a go soon as well on Zanini. As you see, he's just not too far. He's still following the slipstream, and as we go down to Carl Magnus Bore. On P19. Oh, there we go. There's Davide Zanini once again, now defending for P17 against Zabinski with 6 more laps to go. And looks like there's going to be a lot of pressure building for the LEF driver, especially after a nice return yesterday. He's hoping maybe he might be praying for a sprint race pole in the reverse grid, but I don't know how far he goes at this rate. We don't know yet.
He needs to be in the top 10 minimum. So Vin Glenn, has he served the penalty or not? I think he was 11th. He's somehow gone up to 10th then. So I don't know if the penalty was maybe rescinded for being a bit harsh there by the GPV race direction. But nonetheless, I think it would be Saracino, Filin, Taras, Flack, Clont, and Glenn into the reverse grid contention at the moment as things stand. But Decutis is right behind Vin Glenn in that fight just to try and finish in the top 10 here. So Lorenzo has been on quite the charge here as he dives very, very deep up the inside just to try and put off Vin Glenn into the final corner. But Vin is not really going to be intimidated in his home race, is he, in this fight to hold on to 10th position. 4 laps to go. It's going to have to be a dive from Decutis, and again, a little bit too far back there. Meanwhile, Andrzejewski is only taking a second lap out of Koenig and Lawless in front of him, so could be, as we see, actually, there we go, fastest lap of the race. I have to eat my words immediately. Andrzejewski is now right behind Philip Koenig.
Yeah, it looks like vengeance is in his veins. Angry driving, maybe. I'm not sure, but it seems the pace is very strong. I think I just saw as well. Yep, Andrzejewski did get a new best lap time as well with a 34.2. So way more faster than Matheus Maica, and it seems to be planning on a comeback to get into the points to not be out of this game just yet.
Damage limitation, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be now pressuring Koenig and Brody Lawless. Lawless having an amazing drive this race. I gotta say, going from last place to P14. At the moment P14 with 5 laps to go. I want to see how Brody Lawless may defend Andrzejewski if he can.
Yeah, he's on, by the way, let's see, 17 lap old harder compound tires. So his tires are actually about 5 or 6 laps older than Savinski ahead of him, but he's actually lapping quicker than Savinski. So he's driving out of his skin, as you can see. Mistake from Koenig, and now Andrzejewski's going to be lining him up as they go into the Vidal chicane. Koenig loses the back end. He's actually starting to hold up Andrzejewski now. So this the fight for the final points paying position, and Pavel needs to make these moves quickly. He's only got 3 more laps in which to make them.
Yeah, the pressure's on for Pavel now, and the Multiforce car P16 still. It's now or never for the last final laps. He's going to make a... Oh, let's go making a move, but still going to play it safe at the end there. So, good thoughts and good vibes on his half there. And as going to try and stay calm. I don't want to dive ball or do anything silly.
The outside.
Oh,
trying to hold
this is Nini. He's gonna break the latest here, and looks like Zabinski's gonna take it after P17, and he's making it stick. Nicely done there for the Hyperion driver, going up to P17 after a very, what I would say, a very long stint on the hard tires before he changed.
Yeah, there we go. So Zabinski, unfortunately, is going to finish just a couple of positions outside the points, unless Lawless and Koenig really start to struggle in his next few laps. Lawless 36-0 last lap, 36-1 for Koenig. But Andrzejewski now is right behind the German driver then. Philip Koenig is going to fight like crazy for that final points paying position. It's been such a hard slog. That 10th position at Silverstone as oh, there we go. Mistake from Vin Glenn and at the Vidal chicane, and through goes Lorenzo De Cusis into the top 10, and that takes Vin Glenn out of reverse grid pole contention there. So he'll need to try and get back through in these last 2 laps if at all possible. Oh, and
I think they're side by side. Oh no!
They
touched. Yo, that's very close there. Just banging tires there. Hopefully, not of major damage done to the tires on both of those drivers. I think it was Vin Glenn's front right and De Cutis' rear left. But luckily, no damage has been done. No one's been pushed into the pit exit barriers there before the first corner. Very lucky for both drivers. That is very. Non-aware I think maybe from Vin Glenn. He didn't know if it was had enough space to be behind to be directly behind the Tutis. Is now taking the slipstream, and I think he's got, hopefully maybe has enough push to pass left for the rest of the race. So we're now down to 3 laps, 28 out of 30. So it's, time's running out for all these drivers. It's now or never.
Oh, yellow in the first sector. What's that about? As we see Kilhausvik losing more time, so I think another spin for Owen Kilhausvik, unfortunately for him, but his teammate Brody Lawless is having a great comeback, still holding off Koenig and Andrzejewski to the tune of 0.7 of a second, and Andrzejewski is buzzing all over the back of Koenig, but he cannot get through here. I think Philip Koenig is enjoying the slipstream from the back of the 100 to 1, and that is helping him hold off that multiforce, despite Andrzejewski inferior having a tire advantage, but he is you can really feel the pain here because he's done 7 laps. Oh, and there we go. Defensive maneuvers from Frank Hamming on Yasse Latinen, but actually it's Hamming taking the podium away. It's Saracino having a huge moment. Taras goes off track as well. It's all kicking off in the battle for third there. So Latinen has lost the podium to Frank Hamming, and then Saracino has lost out to Filin here as well.
Yeah, it seems to be all getting busy now. Everyone's kind of under pressure because it's now, like I said, now or never for all the drivers, especially for those in the podium places. It looks like Frank Hamming is now slowly driving away, over half a second ahead as they go around the big old Dunlop hairpin as they go up to the Schumacher S, and it looks like it's going to be sticking like that for now. Maybe could be some shocking last moves. I don't know if anyone's going to be doing that. Otherwise, there could be some words on the streets if anything goes wrong. But it looks like at the moment, it looks like Lucas Tyler might be putting pressure now on Jesse Latinen, as he's now P5.
Yeah, Latin, maybe a bit of damage, maybe also some tire wear as well from that little half spin there. As Filen is all over him like a cheap suit into the Vidal chicane. Micah's just starting the final lap now, looks to secure a fantastic win. Filen trying to dive up the inside into the final Coca-Cola corner, and he bullies his way through. Latinen is powerless, and Saracino is being attacked by Oliver Taras in the background as well. You can see him having to defend here. Taras trying to make the move to Latinen, trying to retake position onto the grass for Oliver Taras as he tries to keep position up the inside with Saracino. And yes, it is Latinen that's lost out. Oh, but Taras
there goes Saracino,
who again hits the grass.
No!
Oh, and Taras spins around.
Oh, the last
and they've
lap.
both lost. Oh no, Saracino's lost his front wing. Taras gets going again, but through goes Scott Flack into 6th, and Menno Klont in his 300th Grand Prix is in P7 now on this final lap. Saracino's just got to try and make it to the end now and lose as little positions as possible.
Yeah, let's see what happened here. I have no idea. I think there was a bit of a oversteer or something. It looks like Saracino went off track, and it looks like it looks like Oliver Taras did a bit of a spin there as well.
That was a nightmare for Saracino there, because not only was he forced to the edge of the track, hit a little bit of the grass, tried to rejoin, then he saw the man he just pushed him on the grass spin in front of him with nowhere to go. But here comes Micah. He's weaving almost in celebration already, because he's driven an absolutely spectacular race here. Race 1 at the Nurburg Ring is going to go to Mateusz Micah, who's going to massively extend his championship lead with Andrzej.
Oh,
To the gravel! What are you doing, Micah? Lucky he had that 10-second lead over Rozak, but he nearly threw it away right at the death with a bit of showboating there. So Multiforce doing everything to try and throw away the win here. Rozak takes a brilliant P2, and he's only going to be 6 seconds behind instead of the 10 seconds that he really should have been. Frank Hamming was able to pass Landon late on for the podium. Filen takes P4 with a brilliant move of his own. Latinen has to settle for P5, and then it's Scott Flack in P6 from Menno Klont. So Flack and Klont coming through late doors in the race. Taras, despite that messy spin, will finish P8. Vin Glenn P9, and Lorenzo De Cutis will round out the top 10. So Saracino's dropped to P11, just ahead of Janssen Bins. There he is finishing now. He's going to be disappointed with how that one went. And then it will be Brody Lawless that finishes 14th from Philip Koenig, and Andrzejewski will score no points whatsoever. So that is going to be a full 30-point swing to Mateusz Micah, who's now 50 points in the lead of the championship, just past the halfway stage.
Just catching my breath from the Mateusz Micah nearly throwing that win in the bin.
Yeah, nearly. He was getting
very,
no points whatsoever from this race.
very luckily managed to win that race at the final corner. Well played to Mateusz Micah.
From a championship perspective, if he had just binned it, the worst thing that could happen was Andrzejewski might have got P15 or 14.
Yeah, that
would have been it. So he would have lost 1 point and would have only been like 19 points ahead. Now he's 50 points ahead. But yeah, I suppose this is a case of just having a bit of fun, and he got carried away. But it was very Nigel Mansell-esque, where he nearly threw away a win by showboating on the final lap. But anyway, Mateusz Micah there just survives that dip into the gravel at Coca-Cola corner. He won't be picking up a Coke anytime soon, I don't think, after that one. Patrick Rozak finishes P2 from Frank Hamming. Then it is Luca Filen who climbs up to P4. Him and Hamming having excellent races. Jesse Latinen has to settle for P5 after being bumped around and suffering some damage. Scott Flack climbs from just outside the top 10 into P6. Menno Klont, his 300th Grand Prix, nets a very, very solid P7 on a good day for KKR so far. Oliver Taras, like a late spin after being past Saracino, means he can finish only P8 instead of P6. Vin Glenn, despite a penalty, somehow finishes 9th. And Lorenzo De Cutis from outside the top 20, he makes the biggest climb of all into the top 10, ahead of his teammate Saracino, who lost his front wing late on. Janssen Bins had a bit of a rocky start to the race. He's still got P12 ahead of Philip Savinsky, I believe takes his first points in FS1. Brody Lawless from the back of the grid holds on in a fantastic drive to finish P14 from Philip Koenig, who takes his second point scoring finish of the season to hold off the man second in the championship, Pavel Andrzejewski, who you have to say threw away an excellent chance to win with one small mistake that had big consequences and led to him losing his front wing and having to make that extra stop late on. Matthias Zabinski, he was P17 from Davide Zanini. Carl Magnus Bore was 19th. Raymond Van Soest was 20th. Looks like one of the KKRs has run out of fuel on the way into the pits. But then in 21st was Michael Falkenhayn ahead of Victor Bernat in 22nd. Osama Kanani was 23rd. Kakpa Mikulak, despite that massive moment on the first lap, was 24th ahead of Owen Kilhausvik. Had a very messy race. Victor B, also a slightly difficult rookie performance. He rounds out the finishes in 26th, but not getting to the end were Massimiliano Riboli, Matthias Gazowski, and Matthias Dabrowski. Donuts then for Micah, but that was a very entertaining feature race, wasn't it? And Micah from second on the grid had to really pressure. Let's take nothing away from him. Andrzejewski didn't hand it to him. Micah had to make that mistake happen by putting the pressure on.
Yeah, it seems Micah managed. I don't know whether that was either showboating or nearly losing at that last corner there, but still just about a comfortable win for him after Andrzejewski making a big error there at the exit of the corner, which was I think it was Advenbochen, the corner there that was he made a bit of a mess at that exit.
Curve, I believe, bit curve.
Oh, it was bit curve. Oh, I see.
Turn 12, otherwise known as turn 12, but yes.
Yep, turn 12. Yep. Thank you for the correction. And I think from there it was just head down and full focus for Matheus. Micah just managed to now has a full lead of 50 points now. Like you said, it looks like it's going to be a very one-sided maybe rest of the season for Matheus Micah if nothing goes wrong for him. And
well, we have to remember, before this, Micah had a massive accident at Silverstone, and it was of course Andrzejewski that closed in massively. But anyway, while we wait for race 2, which could be very exciting, we know Micah will certainly not start on pole there. It will be somebody between 5th and 10th in the random draw. But we're going to have a quick break, and on the other side of that, race 2 at the Nurburgring will get underway. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to Formula Sprint 1 at the Nurburg ring. We've just seen Mateusz Majka win after a big mistake from his teammate Paweł Andrzejewski while leading. Meant that he finished only P16 out of the points, and that is where he starts from race 2. But we have just had confirmation that it is ninth place Vin Glenn, who did actually get a penalty in race, which we believe is being sort of appealed and will be looked at post-race. But nonetheless, he is going to start from reverse grid pole, essentially, from Oliver Taras, Menno Klont, Scott Flack, Jesse Lehtinen, Lucas Filin, Frank Hamming, Patrick Rozak, Mateusz Majka, and Lorenzo De Cutis. That's going to be your top 10, I believe. So lots of work for Paweł Andrzejewski to do. But of course, for the likes of Brody Lawless, who already made a lot of positions from race 1, this could be a big opportunity for him if things get chaotic ahead for 100 to 1 to not luck in, but to cash in and get a whole load more points here.
Yeah, and Brody Lawless had a very, very strong race 1, finishing P 14, if I'm correct, P14, P15,
yep.
and
on very old hard tires as well. He was lapping.
It's really impressive from the driver, and I think I'm very excited to see what he can do in race 2. You know, there could be more positions to be gained for him. You know, gaining advantage with the drivers he weren't able to pass due to tires and maybe other problems with the car or something like that. I don't know what he had. I think he had a bit of a rough start in race 1 after, you know, there was a bit of a few cars going around left, right, and center, and I think Brody was part of it.
Yeah, he did get tapped, didn't he? Around the Michalak incident. Just so the big talking point here is going to be tires. Effectively, we know the hards can easily do all 20 laps. The most that the softs were able to do in race 1, Taras did about 14 laps on them. So it could be a bit marginal. Those last 6 laps, you could be very, very slow on the soft tire if you try and do the race without going into the pit lane and doing the one stop. So those who do go on to go for the softs, they could try and do the sort of the soft strategy. But like we saw with Andrzejewski in that first race, once he sort of got stuck behind drivers that were just fast enough to keep him at bay in the form of Koenig and Lawless, there was sort of a train and he couldn't get past Philip Koenig at all. So Koenig, to his credit, defended very, very well there, actually. And he's got that same situation again. I wouldn't be surprised though if Andrzejewski gambles on the softs here to try and gain ground early on, pit later on, because the logic will be if everybody else goes for the hards, then I'll be the only one on softs, and I'll sort of have clear play of the 15 cars in front of me or so.
Yeah, I think Juice is gonna be doing some. I think maybe a lot of pushing in the maybe the first few laps, and then maybe taking it easy to nurse the tires to the end. You know, we'll have to see what every other driver is going to do on their tires as well. And you know, like you said, everyone's going to be most likely in hard tires, and then from there it's going to be smooth driving after probably about 3 to 5 laps, just so they can nurture the tires to the end. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do yet, because you know we've still got another 30 seconds to go to the start of the race, and of course we still have the formation lap to see and see what they have there. And just looking at the chat as well, looks like everyone's been praising Koenig from the defense, like you said, defending in that last lap. Everyone is also praising Brody Lawless, with one saying Brody Lawless masterclass, and I can't agree more. A lot of high praises for other people.
I
in the
like
chat.
this from Yope in the chat. Says Mikey giving heart attack to the commentators.
Yep. Oh.
So that is very true. Whoa! Speaking of heart attacks, somebody decides to take a bit of a shortcut there. I think I used to do that in the old EA F1 games to cause massive pileups, and yeah.
I did that a lot in academy practice. I remember doing it a lot in academy practice. That was the highlight.
There is a massive hill just on the exit of turn 6 in between that and Ford Curve. If you go wide on the gravel, there's a massive hill downhill towards the sort of 7 and 8 essentially.
I remember going into the digital fans, as I think it was Portimao, I think it was when I was driving FS2 for a bit, but then I kind of stepped down because not much communication. I'm not gonna point any fingers or anything. I'm not that evil. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I did that during the time where I was like, I've done a lot of practice. So I think I just want to chill for now. So and then I just yeah, this is what I like about GPV modded tracks. They're all unique, and you can find nice little shortcuts for laughs and stuff when you feel like it. And I think I don't think you can get in trouble on the practice servers, of course, unless I might get kicked out of the chat by now. But it looks like speaking of the race ahead and the Nurburgring, it looks like warm up is about to wrap up, and we're about to head into race 2 with 20 laps of hopefully not pure chaos.
I wouldn't bet against chaos, to be honest. I think it's a guarantee. Heis Young's just race 1 chaos better than academy, bro. He says. Yeah. So Youngstra voicing his opinion as a FS2 driver as well. And this is the LEF boss, Lorenzo Oterovic, says, "None of my thoughts are positive, Chief. I want points." So yeah, Zanini wasn't too far off, but as you can see, he starts 18th behind Zabinski and Andrzejewski. Andrzejewski, frustratingly for him, he can see Micah in P9, but he's still a good 7 places on the grid ahead of him. So advantage Micah again, as long as he can sort of stay out of trouble. But up front, HGP and Vin Glen have got a fantastic opportunity at Vin Glen's home race, no doubt, to try and control this one. But they've got to lead away from the likes of Taras and Menno Klont in his 301st FS1 appearance as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite impressive to reenact the race 1 chaos in this one. I think it's most likely since we're now down to 20 laps instead of the 30, and it seems some pits are still glitching a bit, and it looks like Lawless is the first car out there at the moment as we still wait on everyone else. Just get onto track. Oh, there we go. There's everyone else. It seems, and there's Vin Glen, who's going to be leading the pack when we do the formation lap in just a moment's time. And we're going to get a
difficult first race, wasn't it, Alex, for Apex Grand Prix?
Yeah, it was.
Both Taras making a mistake and Latin and sort of being barged out of the way, so they will be very, very keen to not let this one slip out of their fingers. In fact, Taras already rehearsing his start to try to overtake Glenn into turn 1 as they do the formation lap then. So let's go through the grid and see how our 29 car field lines up this time ahead of race 2. It is Vin Glen on pole position with Oliver Taras alongside him on the front row. Menno Klont and Scott Flack make up row 2. Both of whom will be very, very keen to take a podium at the end of today. Jesse Lattinen and Lucas Feilin comprise row 3. Then it is Frank Hamming and Patrick Rozak who are on row 4. Our race 1 winner, Mateusz Micah, he leads row 5 with Lorenzo De Cutis alongside him. De Cutis, who gained 10 grid spots, or 11 grid spots, it must be said. Then Giuseppe Saracino is 11th with Jansen Bintz alongside him. Then on row 7, it's Philip Savinsky and Brody Lawless from Philip Koenig and Pavel Andrzejewski on row 8. Andrzejewski desperate to make up ground here. On row 9, it's Matthew Sabinski and Davide Zanini in the LEF. Carl Magnus Bore and Raymond Van Suest make up row 10. Then on row 11, it's Michael Falkenhayn for 01 Esports from Victor Burnett in the second LEF. Osama Kanani and Kakpa Mikulak make up row 12. Row 13 is Owen Kilhausvik and Victor B. And is Massimiliano Riboli and Mateusz Gazowski on row 14. And finally, Matthias Dabrowski will be our last car on the field, making up 29th and final position. So lots of work for the second of our Hyperions to do here. But a number of drivers we suspect will be gambling on the soft, but we won't know for sure until halfway around the first lap, most likely, or at least after the first few corners.
Yep, looks like it's gonna be a fun one. Reverse grid races are one of my favorites. We can see a lot of fun coming up very soon, especially with Vin Glenn starting the pack, and we got a fast car already in P2. As Apex can always be a threat no matter where they are on the grid, and you know, it's good to see other. Ooh, my brain's having a fog moment. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We see a lot of other great drivers sit there in the top 10 as well, and there is Hyperion driver at the back. As we slowly make our way. Oh, there's the leaderboard, and yep, Scott Flack, P4 is going to be quite a fun one as well. See what he does at the start of this race, as well as Andrew Tuski starting from P16, so right in the middle of the pack, and see how he does things, and hopefully maybe dodge some carnage as we go over to the 5 red lights.
Yeah, Dabrowski lining up at the back, but it's Vin Glenn, who he's gotten 1 podium so far in reverse grid races this season. He'll be desperate to take his first win of the FS1 campaign. The lights coming on now. Race 2 about to get underway. 20 laps of all no holes barred. All that action begin now, and it's a beautiful launch from Glenn, who immediately comes up to cross and cover off Oliver Tarras, but it's too late. Tarras is through, and they're going 3 wide behind. Phelan overtakes Scott Flack into the first couple of corners. It's 3 wide. Oh, and Lattinen gets squeezed with Frank Hamming, who just avoids the wall as they rejoin, but they lose a load of positions. Micah is now up to 6th ahead of Rozak already then. So big mistake there as Tarras and they just both got squeezed out, Tarras and Rozak there, through no real fault of their own. As somebody dropped it. I think that was Savinsky that's looped around the ice. Zanini also dropping down the audience. Pavel Andrzejewski, who's lost his front wing again in all the chaos on the first lap. And in all of this, Brady Lawless has gotten up to 11th position. Joy for 100 to 1, but absolute disaster. What a horrible day this is turning into for Pavel Andrzejewski after starting on pole position.
Yeah, that's not going to be good stuff for him.
Tarras in the lead, by the way.
Yeah, Tarras in the lead as well, but for Andrzejewski, that's going to be not great for him, especially for the championship as well. It's going to be a very strong lead with Matthias Micah if he doesn't mess this up throughout the rest of the race. A bit of a nice recovery from one of the KKR drivers there.
Menno got
that was
sideways.
Menno, yeah. Menno went a bit sideways there.
Through, and Scott Flack's going to try and go around the outside into the Vidal chicane as well. That's a bold move. He can pull it off. And he has pulled it off. Amazing instincts from the Australian, but now he's going to have to defend into the final corner. Turns across side by side with Menno Coulon, a man with 300 Grand Prix of experience, a little bit sideways. They bang wheels. Here comes Micah looking to take advantage and pass both of them. He's always being fed into the wall. Oh, Menno, he is fed into the wall. Oh! Oh dear, Micah is out, and Scott Flack is surely out now as well. That was a disastrous mistake from both of them. So both multiforces in the wall, but just like race 2 at Silverstone, it's Micah that ends the race in a heap by the side of the track.
Yeah, it looks like a barrier that's sticking out at the end of the pit wall there. He kind of caught into it, and oh my goodness, a lot of carnage there happened. There's the barrier there. He just caught himself on there. That's really unfortunate.
He couldn't have steered out of that.
He couldn't get out of that. It's going to be
boxed in.
It's going to be something
Menno
else
in front of him, and then Scott Flack on the left. So yeah, there was no space.
The commentator's curse is struck again as well. I did say if Matthias Marker didn't mess this up, he could have another. Oh, there's another one, and there's another spin in race 2. Oh, he's in the middle of the track.
Oh, just avoided by everybody.
Goodness. Oh no!
What is happening? And Jansen Bins goes over.
Oh my goodness me! I'm sorry, I'm lost for words.
So that was started with one mistake from Jansen Bins, and it spiraled out of control there as he got collected by half the field. Frank Hamming is now down in 18th position. And meanwhile, Tarras and Glenn still in the top 2. So here we go. Rozak is under attack here. He's got Bintz alongside. Rozak goes wide and then tags Jansen Bintz. Yep. Yeah, so it was a little bit too physical. Rozak loses it, trying to rejoin, and then Jansen gets so Rozak is fine. It's Jansen Bintz that hits trouble getting to the Schumacher S as he tries to rejoin here.
Yeah, there's Jansen Bintz there as it goes, trying to regain it. Goes onto dear. Oh, when he goes in the
spins
gravel,
hamming
and
around.
the gravel really does make your car, really instantly.
You don't want to
tries
ride
stop the car.
backwards in the gravel. At the
That's something you really don't want to do, and nicely done by all the other drivers, just dodging everyone else. Rojak as well, and Janssen Bins. Oh my goodness me!
That was hamming.
And that's Michelin coming into the barrier. I think he seems to be fine. There doesn't seem to be any damage onto his car by the looks of things.
I think there is, because he did take a whack, so the suspension might be a little bit damaged. But both wings still on. And in the race like this, you need both wings on. That's the bare minimum. But look at the way this is turning out for Lorenzo Terovic. Both of his cars, Bernat and Zanini, have snuck into the lower points, 14th and 15th. Such has been the demolition derby so far. Glenn is still putting the pressure on Taras. He's not quite escaped up the road. Filin is also in this podium fight, as well as Menno is now holding off Lorenzo De Cutis and Giuseppe Saracino. Brody Lawless is now up to P7, and the second 100 to 1 of Kill Hauswick is in P13 as well. So Lawless and Zabinski, I believe, the two big gainers, as we see side-by-side action here. Glenn is about to... Oh, he hit the side by Filin! And both Saracino and Clont cut the chicane to avoid the spun KKR there, but... Oh, that was unfortunate there for Filin, but still, not the biggest accident we've seen today. We've had two that are big contenders. Zabinski now gets alongside, gets past Brody Lawless. So remember, Taras is on the soft. That's why he was able to clear Vin Glenn so quickly. Zabinski is also on the soft, and so is Osama Kanani, who is in P9 for MS Performance, by the way.
Yeah, very strong, bold choices for those drivers on the soft tires, and hopefully making it throughout the whole entire race, unless otherwise making a one stop. And it's been an insane opening few laps. I mean, that Matisse Micah going into the barrier like that. I mean, he kind of got pushed into the barrier there, and it's gonna be a lot of things from the show. It says the replay there with Lucas Tylan getting spun at the exit of the corner of the chicane.
It was really unfortunate there.
It was really unfortunate. Yeah, I definitely agree. That was really. Let's look at the driving standards have completely changed in race 2 from nice etiquette driving to very reckless overtakes. I have no idea what's happened in all these drivers. It's absolutely crazy.
They just decided just not to give each other room at all. It's very academy. If I say so myself. Although I think, to be fair, some of the academy standards have gotten a lot better in the last couple of years. As you see, yeah, there's the sign for the Vidal chicane, so we definitely should have been calling it this right from the beginning, quite obviously. Yep. As now, De Cutis has got a chance over Glenn, having survived that assault from Filin, who's still in P12, so not all is lost for the KKR driver. But yes, those on softs, by the way, be interesting to track the lap times of Taras. If Glenn can keep Taras in sight here, then, and in fact, that last lap, 1:35.8, was quicker than Oliver Taras. So already after 5 laps, we might be seeing some of the soft runners starting to conserve to try and make it to the end of this 20-lap race. Zabinski, by the way, will know he's got Lawless all over the back of him. Filin has just cleared Van Soest to try and get back up to 11th, but they're fighting side by side now. As you can see, Raymond Orr thinks about a dive into the Mercedes-Benz arena, tries to make it happen. He's going to be straddled on the outside. Filin is aware of that, and now he's trying to chase down Carl Magnus Bore to get back in the top 10 here. So Filin is a man very much on a mission at the present moment.
Yeah, it looks like Lucas Dylans is looking to get back his places now. Pavel Angelewski making the best lap time of a 1:35.2, and starting from the back as well, all over again after losing the front wing at the first lap. Again, another commentator's curse that happened. As I did say, he's got to be really careful in the midfield pack. So we see Giuseppe Saracino P5 at the moment, just ahead of Zabinski and Lawless, and as well putting pressure on Menno Clont there. Menno Clont, recently celebrating his 300th race today, and I think this is his 301st now, if I'm correct. And I think this is going to be quite memorable for Clont if he does get a podium, if that does happen.
Yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate with the Filin incident. It not only meant Luca Filin spun out of the top 10, but it also meant Clont lost that third to De Cutis, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, Francisco Bernardi from Team Sheba said, strategy call, stay on track. And look at this, Zabinski now is closing on the back of Saracino there. Caitlin Penny says, what a lap that was. I don't know which lap she was talking about. Probably any of the first three it could have been there, because I think all of them were quite dramatic. Not necessarily for the right reason, for positive reasons for everybody. But yeah, certainly the championship has well and truly been turned on its head. Andrzejewski, by the way, pit for a new front wing. He's in 20th position, 21 seconds off the next car of Kakpa Mikulak. So it's going to be harder for Andrzejewski to get into the points. But if some of the soft runners run out of tyres and they have to pit, it could mean he sneaks a couple of points. And even though there's a great opportunity to maybe gain ground on Micah that's gone begging here, Andrzejewski could still get a couple of points and at least get the gap below 50 points, which would be ideal for him. So it's again about damage limitation at this phase. And we see Yope in the chat is saying, come on, Clont. So cheering Menno on to try and get back past Lorenzo Di Cutis. And Menno has certainly had a strong day. P7 in his 300th Grand Prix. He's looking to do better in race 301.
Yeah, Menno Clont doing pretty well so far. Still maybe hoping for that podium. Still very comfortably behind Di Cutis. Anything could happen now. I mean, after seeing the first few laps of the race, that was very out of this world. That was. I've never seen anything like that. My favorite comment so far in the chat that I have seen from Francesco Bernardi, strategy call, stay on track. Yep, which I think that is going to be a good strat call there. I think for all the drivers. And
pass Bore into the top 10.
Yep, and there goes Stylen. Yep, Fylan passing for the top 10. Nicely done there. Looks like Bore is now losing time, and that gap is now widening. And Van Zoost might be. Yeah, it looks like Van Zoost. Oh, yep. I do see Hamming's in the pits, maybe some damage. And it looks like Van Zoost is now putting pressure on Magnus Bore as well. And it looks like it's going to be quite a long race for everyone else who's hasn't been in that big old accident in the first opening laps. And it looks like Hamming has DNF'd as well.
Yeah, well, it was looking difficult. I think he just dropped out too far off the back of the LEF cars, so he wasn't in a position to challenge for the final point. And I think he was just seeing that the damage was getting a little bit too much, because remember, he got spun around. Very unlucky with the Rozak incident as well. And Janssen Bintz, of course. It was Bintz that hit him, sorry. But no, yeah, nonetheless, after a third place in race 1, all of GP's hopes now reside within Glenn, who has got Di Cutis all over the back of him as we look at that battle now. So Taras, to me, looks like he is trying to conserve the softs to get to the end, whereas Zabinski and Kanani, they're both sort of lapping. Zabinski's now lapping in the low 36s, but Kanani is still absolutely pushing into the mid 35s. Now he's got Luca Fylan though catching the back of him as he's now stuck behind Philip Koenig. Another driver not talked about is Van Soest, and Bore goes side by side, and Bore judges that very, very well. No, he doesn't. No! They collide into each other, and it's another one spinning into the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Owen Kilhaswick says, "Thank you very much. I'll have that P11," and both the LEF cars gratefully get through as well. So yeah, Van Soest, very, very ambitious. It didn't quite work out, and Bore will feel a little annoyed with that one, as now you can see Latinen catching the back of them, trying to get back into the points.
Yeah, also Massimiliano Riboli going up to P14 as well. I think, if I'm right, he started from the back, from right at the back as well. I think, after DNFing quite early or mid-stage of race 1, and seems to be doing pretty well so far. I don't want to, again, I don't want to give anyone any curses. It seems to be affecting a lot of drivers at the moment, and there's the tally board there. There's 13 places gained for Massimiliano Riboli. As we see also other drivers, we see Carney, if I said the name right, I apologize, as going up 13 places as well, with Zabinski going up 11 places up to P6. As the Di Cutis goes up to 7, so a lot of gains from a lot of drivers after the manic that was the opening. I think the opening 5 laps of that race, especially that massive incident of Matus Micah and Scott Flack. I think there's going to be some proper look by the stewards there at the end of this day, and hopefully a lot of questions to be asked as we see Lucas Tylan comfortably P9 at the moment, 2 seconds behind Koenig, followed by Blawless in P7 and then Zabinski. And it looks like the Tutus is still hovering around Vinglen, maybe making a move very soon. As you can see, there is a bit of a train going along very closely, but the closest is the Tutus on Vinglen for P2. So anything could be happening between those two drivers anytime.
Yeah, and of course, Lorenzo De Cutis has got wins this season at both race 1 in Japan and race 2 in Montreal in Canada as well. So he's certainly a bit of a master at these reverse grid races. That's where quite a few of his podiums this season have come in. But yeah, certainly Team Shiba need to press on here if they want to try and win this race. And De Cutis is definitely looking like their best bet at the present moment here, with Menno Klont struggling to keep De Cutis in sight here, although he has got a bit of the hurry up last couple of laps with Saracino nipping at his heels. And you can see Zabinski, since clearing Lawless, he has started to struggle on pace. So I think we're into lap 9 of 20. This is where the soft tyre runners will really start to struggle here, and it's going to go towards the territory of those on the harder compounds. But yeah, Taras still one second ahead of Vin Glen, but he's not disappearing into the distance. So yeah, he's got to hope that there's still that the soft tyres have got another 10 laps in them, because if they start fading after 5 laps and he starts dropping like a stone, then Taras is in serious trouble here.
Oh yes, most definitely. And it looks like Taras is, still doesn't feel the pressure at the moment, with Vin Glen still defending himself against the Tutus. And so far so good. With Taras still leading the pack at the moment after having a great start and missing all the drama that happened behind him. Hopefully, none of that kind of lagged anyone's sims or anything. Otherwise, that could have made matters worse. But we did lose a lot of drivers this race. It looks like we lost about maybe nearly 10 drivers, 9 to 10 drivers, I think, if I can see it properly, That's more DNFs than race 1 already.
Yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them were by lap 2 as well. So
yeah,
and only just 2 laps with the start line crash between Flack and Micah, sadly. And then Janssen Bintz, unfortunately, binning it halfway through that same lap as well. So then, yellow in the first sector, so somebody near the back of the field has hit trouble. It might be Philip Savinsky. There he is, missing his front wing. So the Team Iris driver has quite literally hit trouble, or trouble has found him, either way, and he's going very, very slowly. So Taras might well be in a position where he's got to lap him cleanly, as we see. Is that a move going on a bit further back? Was that Zabinski going into the pits? There we go. So I thought he might have been pushing the tyres a bit hard. He's decided to go for another set of softs. Kanani, though, is staying out, and so too is... oh no, Kanani's coming in as well. So we'll have to see what Pavel Andrzejewski does, because, of course, he switched to the softs at the end of the first lap because he lost his front wing. So, yeah, he might be quite low on tyres as well at this point, down in 19th, but it's pretty academic from his point of view.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of drivers who've started on softs who are going to be coming in, who unfortunately weren't able to last them long as they expected, and then there's going to be a few others maybe coming in maybe the last few laps, which is I don't think it's going to be a good plan. But all those on hard tyres, I think they're all going to be hopefully making it at the end of this race. It looks like they're all trying to conserve their tyres until the last few laps of the race, and then they're all going to be pushing again until the very end. And I can tell, as so far we haven't seen any fights at the moment between any drivers. I mean, Lorenzo Juices is on the gravel, but luckily no harm done there. And it looks like Savinsky has DNF'd as well now. So now we're down to 19 drivers in this race, which is I don't think I've seen this many DNFs in a race before.
Yeah, certainly not this many flips. I've not seen so many flips in a FS1 race before, despite doing all of last season with Owen in commentary. Interesting little milestone here for 100 to 1. If they can stay where they are for the next 8 laps, or maybe even go better. As you see, DeCute is really lining up Glenn here. Lawless in 6th, Kilhausvik in 9th. That would be not only their first double points for Thunderdrum, but their first double top 10. As we see, Zanini is coming into the pits, so even the hard tire runners are starting to struggle here as Zanini comes in. So this is probably a very, very unexpected call here to go for presumably a set of softs for these final 8 laps here to try and challenge for the final points paying positions. So Zanini's going to come up behind Kanani almost certainly.
Yeah, just looking at the comments as well, Caitlin Penny saying Janssen had a pretty spectacular one with when it comes to flipping, and Scott Flack saying luckily there's no deaths in GPVWC or I'd be gone. And we're still lucky to have you, Scott. A good thing that you're okay. I hope you didn't have direct drive wheel, otherwise that would have been a bit painful in that area, in that subject. As we say, a bit of a weird call there. Going back into the race, a bit of a weird call there from Zanini, swapping the tires from going off, changing tires there, especially on hard tires as well. Probably been pushing him a bit too much than expected. But it looks like everyone else seems to be
that LEF had decided to split the strategies. Maybe him and Bernat are in a similar position in regards to tyre life, but they thought, look, because of the attrition, it's better to be on the softer tyres and breeze through those near the back of the field than it is to be up front and then just suddenly run out of tyres and spin off. So maybe that's what the judgment call is, that it's a case of this is a race you just need to be in it. Even if you lose time with the extra stop, it's still worth just carrying on and finishing, because there's still a chance that Zanini could get his way into the lower points here with the pace that he's got on the softer tyres. We see DeCutis really actually putting the rear tyres through their paces, and Glenn now is in prime position to attack Taras. Last lap for Taras, 2 tenths slower than Vin Glenn, who's now starting to set personal best laps of the race. So Glenn, who inherited that reverse grid pole, lost the lead on the first lap to Oliver Taras, now sees the delta starting to go back into his territory as Kanani on the fresh softs sets the fastest lap of the race down in 17th, and he needs to because he's 6 seconds behind Mikulak, who is right behind the battle for the final points paying position.
Yeah, amazing stuff for Kanani is on the new fresh tyres. I don't know if anyone else could be,
Sabinski's got past Mikulak, actually.
Yep, so it could be anyone on fresh tyres who might be doing even faster laps. Like you said, Zabinski might be doing the same. I'm not 100% sure yet. It looks like the pressure is now on Vin Glenn, as DeCutis is now very close to the rear of his car, and it seems the gap has opened a bit more of a bit of a rougher corner there at the chicane. As we go to the start-finish straight, it's still staying on him, and I think he's going to be playing it safe. I don't see anything happening. There's something happening in the background.
Whoa!
Oh, and there goes DeCutis making a move, a nice late braking dive bomb move. But it seems there's going to be a fight around this corner, around the Mercedes arena, and it looks like DeCutis is going to hold back and play it safe and not do anything too silly. As there's still some laps to go. No much pressure just yet. I didn't expect him to break that late. That was pretty impressive to keep it clean as well.
The problem is them fighting each other. They were 6 tenths behind Taras. Now the gap's back up to a second there. So that absolutely plays into the Englishman's hands here. Zanini now sets the fastest lap of the race from last position. He's right behind Andrzejewski, who of course is really struggling on those worn soft tyres at this point. So Multiforce, for the first time this season, I believe, are looking to have a round where neither of their cars scores any points, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking in their thing, and it looks like
it's not happened before this season anyway.
No, it's not happened before this season. This is going to be the first time, if nothing happens in the rest of the race, this could be the first time Multiforce won't score any points. So it's going to be the big points for a lot of teams, for lots of the other teams here getting this chance after Multiforce struggling in this second race, and I'm just looking at the Constructors' Championship, maybe Team Schieber and Apex. I'm just looking at the chart now.
Over 100 points behind Multiforce, so there's quite a lot of ground to make up. And look at this again. Koenig is shattering right behind Brody Law. So it's a rerun of race 1 with these two fighting each other, except no Andrzejewski to sneak up on them this time. But they have got Luka Filin, who has been rapidly gaining ground and is now within about a second of Koenig here. So Koenig is having one of his most convincing showings of the season so far in P7. But Brodie Lawless, again, very good defensive driver, won't be overcome too easily by the local hero here. Zabinski now steals that fastest lap of the race in 14th position. He is flying as he's now within about 2 seconds of Raymond van Soest in the fight for P13.
Yeah, it's the fresh tires once again making the most. Those people in the fresh tires making the most of it. It's going to be a battle of the lap times, and as they try to keep it consistent, maybe faster, maybe a little slower, just maybe start a nice fast lap around the track, because most of them are at the back markers there. They don't have any pressure on them at the moment. Looking at the time differences. Especially looking at Latin and Zabinski, just over a second, just a second behind Van Zoest, as we still see. Just looking at other places down at the bottom, it looks like there's no other fighting happening at the moment. But I think there's going to be a lot of fighting happening very, very soon now, as we're going into the latter stages of race 2, as we're on lap 15 out of 20, and I'm starting to muddle my words now because I'm starting to lose my breath.
5 laps to go then, and Vin Glen is back within half a second of Oliver Taras there. Oh, as Kamper Mikulak is out, and that promotes Jesse Latinen back into the points there. So Mikulak has hit trouble, and we see, Bore losing out to Zabinski as well. So, yeah, Bore making a big mistake, and Mikulak, there we go. More battling happening here. So there is Carl Magnus. Bore's got going again, but you can see Latinen ahead of him. And yeah, they're about 5 seconds away from Zabinski now. So what happened here? Carl Magnus has got, I think, Raymond van Soest right behind him. Van Soest, is he going to make a move around the outside of the Vidal chicane? Round goes...
Oh my goodness.
And...
Does he land it?
He does.
Oh, nicely landed. I hope there's not too much damage on the car.
Yeah, that's what we call the flippy curbs that Carl Magnus Bore has found there. But yeah, that's only the second time we've seen a car flip in this race. I wonder if they're going to make it a hat trick. Kamper Mikulak, who's had a big brush with the wall already in this race, was running, I think, just behind Latin, and the rear went. And there we go. He will go no further than out of the Akumo curve. And big shame for... luckily, his teammate Koenig is in P7, but that's a big shame then for Griffone, as now Taras feeling the pressure here, as look at this, Menocon and Saracino have started to catch up because Glenn and Decutis have not been able to find a way through and just ended up fighting each other. So we are looking at a 5-way fight for the lead then in these final 3 laps, and Taras has done a brilliant job, has just got to hold on to hope that the softs don't disintegrate right in front of him here, but Vin Glen will be desperately craving a chance to take the win here in his home Grand Prix, and Taras will be resolutely defending, trying to stop that from happening.
Yeah, I think Taras has been saving those tyres throughout the entire race after getting that lead. And I think, with Vin Glen and the tutors fighting for P2, it didn't really help as much as well for Vin Glen to have those chances to fight Taras. And because I think they've also been saving their tyres as well. But, with them on hard tyres, and they can last longer than those soft tires, it's going to be a bit of a tight one with all the top 3. I think they're going to be fighting amongst themselves. So we're now down to the last 3 laps of this race, so it's going to be the time is now ticking for all those drivers. So it's going to be make a move or it's going to be game over for those drivers.
Yeah, yellow flag in the first sector. Oh dear, as we see Pavel Andrzejewski pitting at the end of this race just for some soft tires, and you got to feel sorry for him because it just got involved in the carnage on the first lap. There was nowhere to go, front wing fell off, and this has been one of those races, a rare non-score for both multiforces after a huge accident for Matthias Micah and Scott Vlack at the beginning of the race. A lot of teams with no cars in this race, and that's been the case for some while. As we see, here we go, lap 18 about to start, 2 more to go, and Taras leads by half a second from Glenn and Decutis. More yellows in sector 2. Someone's hit trouble behind them. It's Carl Magnus Bore, and he's out of the points, facing the wrong way that's both Iris cars out then. He was facing the wrong way coming out of Dunlop.
Maybe doing more flips to get more bonus points, I don't know, but it looks like something between an LEF driver.
Zanini.
Zanini, yep, Zanini.
Inside of him.
It seems to make a nice move, but
Oh.
it seems it's just on the curb as well. He lost his front wing, and I think he says that's enough there. And yeah, but Zanino, a nice overtake around the hairpin, very clean as well, and luckily no trouble caused there by any of those drivers. So lots of DNFs on the counter, as DJ Khaled would say, another one.
Yeah, only 17 drivers left in the race then. So, yeah, if Andrzejewski might sneak a point out of this after all, the way things are going. But he's running out of time for people to exit the race in front of him, as Van Soest does just that, actually, and drops out of 16th position then. So, yeah, Pavel is going to be frustratingly one place outside the points then, with just, 2 more laps to go then. As we see our three leaders, Taras, Glenn, Decutis. Taras not making any slip-ups so far. He's driven an absolutely sublime race. But Vin Glenn, is he going to try something risky here? Or is Decutis going to give up trying to fight for the lead and just fight Vin Glenn for P2 here? Is the truce going to be off as Brody Lawless sets his personal best lap of the race, and he's faster than all the leaders, 135.9 in 6th position.
There seems to be another yellow flag. That kind of flared up as I think Van Zoost is gone now. Oh dear.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Oh, Riboli losing out to
Riboli's
Zabinski.
losing out to Zabinski there. The gap is not too bad. I think there might have been a bit of a wobble in one of the corners.
Zabinski on the soft tyres there. He's really flying.
Yeah, he's really. Yeah, it's the tyres as well, isn't it? And it seems to be going pretty well. And it looks like someone has noted what you quoted about Carl Magnus Boro being in the points. It looks like you put a curse on him. As you said, he was still in the points, and unfortunately, he's not anymore, being DNF'd. So,
well, I wasn't to know, but as we see, look at this, Glenn going very, very deep into Dunlop corner there. When you do it, it's inexcusable. When I do it, it's forgivable. Anyway, just kidding. Look at this, Glenn getting very, very close here, and he's only got one more lap after this one, and Taras knows it. He's going to defend the middle of the road, but are the softs starting to fade at this late phase of the race? Andrzejewski on very, very new tyres sets the fastest lap of the race by some margin, 133.5. The lead is here in the low 36s, and Brody Lawless in the mid 35s, starting to close. Could we see a 6-way fight for the win on this final lap? Who knows? But yeah, Vin Glenn, pushing out of the final chicane, and the curbs not giving him the traction he needed there. And could that one little moment be just enough for Oliver Taras to hold on here? Final lap starts now.
yeah, it looks like that curb there at the final corner just gave Taras a bit of glimpse of hope as we go into the steep first corner already, and it looks like everyone's. Taras seems to be doing fine. A bit of a oversteer, I think, moment there for Vin Glenn, but seems to make it stick. It seems to be still slowly closing down to Oliver Taras now. Time is running out for Vin Glenn. He's got to make this move, or make a catch up to him. Otherwise, it's going to be Pete, another podium in the reverse grid race, as we see going around the next few corners here. I've lost my map. There's my map. As we see, as we go through the Ford curve, going around the Ford curve now, and the gap is now closing in. I think it looks like Glenn looks stronger in the second sector.
Yeah,
as we go
Decutis
through
dropped back a bit. And he's now defending from Menno. And Andrzejewski, by the way, was 10 seconds faster almost on the last lap than Kanani, who holds the final points paying position. The problem is he's still 3 seconds behind. He's only got 2 sectors left to go. So Kanani can just hold on and get his first FS1 points. But Taras, bigger stakes up front. He wants to take what would be a rare win for him. Oliver Taras, has he won before this season? He won in Saudi Arabia, but other than that, it's been slim pickings, the odd podium here and there. Vin Glenn is running out of time into the Vidal chicane for the final time. He gets very, very close. He's almost pushing him along. Taras goes.
And there goes Vin Glenn. Vin Glenn's going around the inside. Oh, it's going to be a touch moment. It's in the barrier. Oh, they spun. Oh, this was a carnage.
And Menno Klont's going to win.
I can't believe it. Menno Klont has won it. He's done it.
Oh, my goodness.
What a way to celebrate 300 races. Menno Klont, take a bow. Wow.
That was not how I expected that one to go, but to me, that looked like Taras made a mistake right at the fatal point on the traction coming out of the final chicane. and that allowed Vin Glen up the inside. I think it was Vin Glen's to lose. Taras decided to do a kamikaze dive up the inside, took both of them and Dacutis out of it, and then we got Clont winning, Saracino second, and Brody Lawless third on the podium again from the back of the grid to third. Went Brody Lawless.
I called it. I said Menno Clont better get a podium after celebrating his 300th race, and he's gone and done it and gone something better and got a win. And it looks like, yeah, Brody Lawless has got a podium as well after that, all that carnage. Wow, look at that. That was really bad timing from the tutors, I think, going around that last corner, just going into them as they both spun.
Yeah.
I think they were kind of both roadblocking it a bit there and just nowhere to go for any of them. But
Yeah,
wow, well played,
Lorenzo
Menno
there.
Clont. Take a bow and happy 300 races, mate.
If Lorenzo knew what was going to happen, the problem was there was almost enough space for him through. Menno even hit him as well. Lucky to hold on to his front wing there. Oh dear. But yeah, crazy end to the race. And the reason I've gone very quiet is because everybody is telling me to shut up because they want to go to sleep at 10 p.m. Sorry. And yeah, so thank you, Oliver Taras, for getting me in trouble there by causing absolute mayhem. But it was mayhem start to finish, wasn't it, Alex?
Yeah, I didn't see. I haven't seen anything insane like an insane ending like this since I don't know. That was amazing. I'm just looking at the replay now, and there's the tutors there. Just getting caught into that. Just he had nowhere to go. That's really unfortunate. It was just missing out on the podium. But you know that I feel like that's going to be something the stewards are going to have to look into between Vin Glen and Oliver Taras. But overall, there's your top 10.
Ah, there we go. Confirmation then. Menno Clont, his second victory. We were talking about it, his 300th Grand Prix, and how special it would be if Menno getting on the podium. He topped the podium in dramatic circumstances. Saracino, he gets another second position to add to his collection. Brody Lawless, a second podium of the season for him and 100 to 1. Best ever finish for 100 to 1, third and ninth with Lorenzo Dacutis. Oh, just missing out at the end there, despite running in third for most of the race. Philip Koenig gets P5, his best finish of his FS1 career, I believe. Oliver Taras. Oh, you got to feel if Oliver did everything right until the final lap there. Lucas Filin was 7th after recovering from the early spin. Vin Glen, that was really his race to lose at the end. And unfortunately, Taras took it from him with a bit of a kamikaze dive. And then Owen Kilhausvik was 9th. And Victor Bernat rounds out the top 10 for LEF. So joy for Lorenzo Terovic because both his drivers are in the points, as we can see. Sabinski 11th. Jesse Lantanen 12th, Massimiliano Riboli 13th, Davide Zanini 14th, Osama Kanani 15th, Pavel Andrzejewski 16th. So even with all that chaos, he could not score any points. That's so frustrating. Roman Van Soest 17th after retiring, along with Carl Megaspore, Kakpa Mikulak, Philip Savinsky, Frank Hamming, Patrick Rozak, Jansen Bintz, Scott Flack, Matej Majka, Matthias Dabrowski, Matthias Guzowski, Michael Falkenhayn, and Victor B. I have no idea what happened to Falkenhayn and Victor B because the first lap was so chaotic that everybody retired. So I assume they just spontaneously exploded given the pace of the race. But wow, Alex. I've been given a gagging order to be as quiet as possible. You give me your reaction to that race while I decide who we're going to interview first.
I got to be honest, that was the most insane race I ever seen in my entire life. I know I say this every time I'm on FS1 commentating, when I'm with Owen, when I was with Amir once as well. It just keeps getting more wilder and wilder, and this race too. This is going to be a personal highlight for me as well. As you know, I haven't really confirmed it fully yet, but more useful to come about my what's happening to me. But we'll talk about it at the end of the stream, of course. At the end of the stream.
I hope you're not about to announce that you're dying or anything, Alex.
Oh no! Right.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Don't worry.
All right, we do have a replay that Fabian Jungbluth wants to show us. So let's see what this is. This is Osama Kanani, of course, scored his first points by holding off Andrzejewski. Oh, there's his teammate missing his front wing. Okay. I can't understand what Fabian is trying to tell me, so I assume he He wanted to show me something cool, and he can't. Anyway, with the interview room populating, how about we transition to the interviews? So I think, given that Matthias Maika, winner of race 1, is nowhere to be seen, it's only appropriate that we drag in the man with over 301 Grand Prix of experience, and in race 301, he was number 1. It's Mr. Menno Klont. So we're joined now by KKR's very own Menno Klont. Menno, it's funny enough that I should be back commentating, because last season when I was commentating, you won at Imola in the reverse grid, and it all blew apart right at the end. You were looking to bank a very, very solid P4, and in the end, it turned into P1 with everybody crashing into each other at the final corner of the race. So, wow, what an amazing feeling. Congratulations.
Yeah, I've got no words. This time not that emotional as the last time, but more like that I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what happened. The car was really good, and I tried to save my tires the whole race, just to be strong in the end, or save my push to pass. So I had my push to pass on, I think, for the entire last lap. I think that was my strat. And I cannot believe what just happened. I cannot believe. And I saw the incident ahead, and I think I can understand why they went for it. Only wanted that win. Vin has only one chance, and yeah, maybe opportunistic move, but I can understand him as well. He wants to get that gold. He is then so close, one corner, so he goes for it, and then it all went crazy, and yeah, I have no idea what I just done. Or like Gasly would say, what did you do? But I have no idea what I just did. No, seriously.
It was beautiful timing, because, right in front of you was Dikitis, who just got in the accident, and it so easily could have been his win. And Giuseppe Zaracino was behind you the entire race, so you had your hands full pretty much all the way through, as you say. And then we got to say, race 1, you qualified in the top 10 in your 300 Grand Prix and finished P7. So it was all in all a very, very strong day for you, regardless. So there was a bit of luck that went your way, but nonetheless, like Imola, you had to defend, and that eventually became the battle for the win.
I cannot believe I had not expected after last year that I would win again. I mean, I know I have some skills. I train really hard to do well, but yeah, I'm just getting beaten when I'm testing by a lot of others I'm testing with, and then you get motivated and you go better and better, and today it was nearly perfect. Only I didn't have the track position in the top 3, and I was like, I'm like just go P4 here. Well, I just wanted to get that podium, and then it happened. You've got Menno here speechless again, because this keeps happening, because a win for me, even a podium for me, it's not something what happens a lot. I think this is my 7th podium in 301 races, so it doesn't not happen a lot, and that it happens again. I thought about it this week, because this was my 300 Grand Prix, and last year I won on Malta Force's 400 start, where we had the golden livery, and well, you see, I'm very hyper now, and I have no I don't know what to say, man. I'm really happy, and I already got a lot of messages back. I even didn't see the incident. I just I need to give it a place
saw the
now.
gap where the incident wasn't happening and went for it.
Yeah. It was pure. I think this was pure bit luck as well, and we shall see if something like process-wise will come my way or somebody else. We shall see.
Yeah, let's hope you don't get blamed for the flak Micah crash. Could that happen right next to you or right behind you?
Yeah, from what I saw, at least, I defended quite hard, but I think I didn't hit them, and I just closed a bit on Micah too, so that he couldn't pass. But I don't think I hit him there. So a lot of things to sink in, and but they will not take this moment away. But yeah.
Well, they'll take it from your cold dead hands, won't they?
No, I think that's all what I can say now.
Okay, Alex,
Yeah.
Alex, did you have any questions for Menno? Oh, Menno, while we try and drag him off the ceiling.
Yeah, Melo. Firstly, congratulations on your 300th race and that amazing win in race 2. That was very unspeakable. I'm lost for words of what I just seen. I just want to say, how do you feel after winning that race? And do you think you might be lucky for maybe getting another win the rest of the season?
Well, I will not play my luck again, but I think the pace is quite good. I think I'm performing maybe better than ever over a single lap, and yeah, it just feels good. And another win, of course. We always will push for another win in the remaining rounds. Or yeah, I would like another podium, maybe if that's on the cards. Would love that, but yeah, I mean, we just take it like it is, and I got this now, and it's it's fine. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. I usually do one question, so that's all the questions I have.
Right, so I
Yeah.
guess we'll let Menno go, but congratulations again, Menno, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, so well done.
And in 2 weeks again on comms here, I need you.
The lucky charm.
No, no kidding.
You just
thank you.
gotta be nicer to Owen, and he'll be your lucky charm as well.
Thanks for
Everyone will crash
having me.
that could have beaten you, and the same thing will happen again. Right?
Thanks for having
Anyway.
me.
Oh, cheers.
Bye-bye.
Right, so who should we talk to next? Shall we talk to the man who had a very difficult day today on the flip side, just to get out of the way? The man who started on pole but didn't score in either race by narrow margins, and that's Pavel Andrzejewski. So Pavel joins us now. Unlucky Pavel, because you started on pole in race 1. It seemed to all be going your way, and then one mistake coming out downhill out of turn 12. You went around into the wall. You just miss out on points, and then you lose the front wing at the start of race 2, and pretty much the same thing happens again. You just miss out on the points to Osama Kanani. So a frustrating day as well, really, for Multiforce, with just one win when it really should have been a 1-2 in race 1.
Yeah, what a beautiful disaster today.
I think that sums it up well.
Hello, Edwards. Hello, everyone. What else can be said? I think that it all explains by itself. I made a terrible mistake. I basically spun out of the lead in the first race. Qualifying was very, very good, actually perfect. We locked out front row. We had controlled this race pretty easily because we had almost 5 or 7 seconds of advantage over third guy at this moment. So yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe I lost focus. Maybe I just wanted to go even faster because the balance, overall balance over the stint was really excellent. I didn't have any issues with controlling the car until this one moment. So it's very bitter, but I think I quickly went over it because I had basically fun trying to catch up anyone in this race 1, race 2. So I don't think I'm very disappointed by the outcome. I'm disappointed by the result, of course. I'm disappointed by myself, but I think I will shrug it off and be very focused over the next race.
In race 1, when you caught up to Koenig and Lawless fighting for 14th and 15th, why were they so difficult to pass? Because it felt like Philippe came alive today.
Actually, Philippe is very good defender. He's a very good driver in racing, car to car. So he's one of the toughest guys to be overtaken, first of all. Second of all, he was in the train because Brody was basically giving him slipstream on straights, and so I had to plan my overtakes very cautiously, and it wasn't very easy. And finally, on last lap, I think I got pushed out of the track when I was fighting with him side by side. So even if I was possible to overtake him on this last lap, I was basically denied because I got thrown out of the track. So yeah, maybe this is justified to finish this both races on P16. Maybe this is the karma that I should finally get, because I think that I and Mateusz were very lucky over this season with some random things happening, and we had uh, very straightforward season until now. Maybe the Canada was one-off event that also was a warning sign, but I think today was the accumulation of this every luck we had from the start of the season.
Yeah, well, it was a brilliant pole lap nonetheless. Was it 23,000 ahead of Mateus? And I'm sure the championship is not over yet. So hard luck today, and let's hope you have a better race or pair of races in Spa in a few weeks' time. Thanks for coming to talk to us, Pavel. And yeah, let's forget about today. Or just focus on quali, pretend the races didn't happen.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, the Spa race will be very difficult for me, because first of all I will be on holidays in days before the race. I will have only one day, I think, of practice. Of course, the upcoming week will be the moment I will be practicing a lot, but I will have to catch up now this 1 month of absence. And as I said 2 weeks before, it will be the last race before moving out. So the question mark is even bigger than it was 2 weeks before.
Well, fair enough. But best of luck with all of that then, Pavel. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bad day for Motorforce today, but I'm sure you lick your wounds and you'll come back stronger next time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good night.
Right, so we let Pavel Andrzejewski leave the commentary box. Shall we try in Philip Koenig? Because we never talked to Philip, and he had an absolutely superb day today. 14th in race 1, and then 5th in race 2. So let's talk to the Griffon driver.
That's like a good idea.
Yeah, so Philippe joins us now. Philippe, congratulations. That was a superb pair of performances today. 14th in race 1, fighting with Brody Lawless, holding off Pavel Andrzejewski, who we just talked to. And then in race 2, a fantastic run, again fighting with Brody Lawless. There's a big crash at the end, and you ended up getting a P5, one of your best results in a long, long time in Formula Sprint 1. And after a good performance at Silverstone as well. This was long overdue. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, I know I'm super lucky with P5. I was already super lucky with P7 where I was before, or P8, I don't remember even, because so many people dropped out early in the race. But yeah, feels good to finally have some pace again, at least a little. After quali I wasn't not overly excited, seeing that I was again almost a second off, or even more than a second I think. And then having to start race 1 from last, or second to last, because of the penalty from Silverstone. Race 1 already felt very, very satisfying. So being able to back this up in race 2, yeah. Can't just say I'm happy. I'm actually currently I'm exhausted. So yeah,
was there a bit of frustration seeing Brody on the podium when you were right behind him for a lot of race 2 there and challenging him?
Absolutely not. He was quicker than me, and I'm a bit frustrated that I didn't manage to overtake him in race 1 because I had much fresher tires by like I think 4 laps. So it should have been on. Should have been able to get him in race 1, but somehow it's super hard to overtake for me here in at the Nurburgring. I don't know why. I know it's a track that doesn't suit me compared to Silverstone because of all these slow and very medium speed corners. No, totally. I don't want to use the wrong word. I'm not good at this. Let's put it this way.
I think you're being very hard on yourself.
No, I don't know what to say. Actually, I'm super happy about the result. Just grateful being lucky for once and not being on the receiving end of having bad luck.
Yeah,
I don't wish it to anybody else, but I think
it's excellent for Griffon as well, given that your teammate was forced into doing a lot of breakdancing today, it would seem. Well, actually, mostly it was in warm up, not in the race itself. But nonetheless, poor Kakbo was a bit of a beaten and bruised by the end of it. But yeah, it was good to see you in the other car, really delivering. And yeah, it's been after a couple of seasons of seeing you struggle. It's brilliant to see you finally come good, Philip, like you always promised to do, but it never quite happened, and now it finally has. So thanks for coming to talk to us, and I think we'll let you go, and we might have time for just one more interview after you.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a nice evening.
Right, cheers. So I think because we're talking to most of the other team, shall we get Owen Kilhausvik in from 100 to 1 and then call it a night? Because I think then we've got most of the front running teams from today represented. So let's talk for the 100 to 1's very own Owen Kilhausvik. So we're joined then by Owen Kilhausvik, who just snuck had a very, very tough race 1 and then a much better race 2, finishing in P9, obviously behind your teammate Brody in both races, Owen, despite Brody starting from the very back of the group. But a very, very positive day for 100 to 1 and the first double top 10 finish for both 100 to 1 cars. Ben must be very happy.
Yeah, he probably is. I mean, it was very mixed today for me. Like, with how the week just went, I couldn't practice that much, and for some reasons, and you know, I've started working full time again up until September, so there's a lot working against me this week especially, and like was coughing throughout the race and don't really feel that well, but with those excuses out of the way, I actually have another one I'm gonna get to. At the beginning of race 1, I was behind Philip Koenig and was gonna get real close to him after turn 1, and I wasn't gonna hit him, but I did hit him. And I was like, "What? Why is this happening? How is this happening? This isn't me. This isn't how it's supposed to go." And I realized, like a millisecond later, that my engine was making a noise as if I was fully on throttle. And in the next corners, I paid attention to my throttle application, like the green bar, and I was going like 20% throttle on some braking zones, and it was just spiking up, and it was so it was like a mental battle after I saw that, just trying to get into the groove of it and trying to focus when I know there's an issue, and it really just killed my vibe, and I couldn't focus. Like, I have ADHD. I can't focus when my dad goes near my door or like goes past the window outside. But when it's the pedal, yeah, it kind of killed that race. And I spun a couple times, and when I went into the pit, I was like almost at 50% throttle when I'm not touching it. So I managed to fix it and like get the dust away or whatever. Like, I have to spray the pedal like at the back of it like all the time. So I did that, and I came into race 2, and I was like, yeah, if this doesn't work, I might just go to bed. Like, I wasn't feeling today. But doing the formation lap, I was trying to hype myself up, and like anything can happen, and a lot of things happened in that race, like people going off everywhere, and I just kept it clean and got a top 10, and I'm super happy with that, because race 1 I was like, why am I even racing? How have I not retired yet? Like, it went from bad to good, and I'm happy to at least leave this race with some points and call it a success.
And it's your worst result of the season in race 1, followed by your second best result of the season in race 2, interestingly. And do you want to know the good news? 100 to 1 started today 10th in the team's championship. They are now 9th and equal with Pixel 8 Racing on 86 points. So looking good going into this season, considering you were 14th last season. This is turning into a really strong season for you, Brody and Ben.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really paid I'm not gonna lie. Ever since Canada, I didn't do that race, and Birdie got a podium. I was like, I didn't really pay much attention to the team's championship after that because I was like, okay, a reserve driver just got a podium. Feels like it doesn't feel like it was that personal like it was last year or earlier this year. But I mean, it's good though. It's positive, and but at the moment, I'm just trying to get up in the drivers' championship as much as I can, and like getting those consistent finishes.
Fair enough. That is definitely something to aim for. Well, I can tell you where you are in that if you're really interested. 17th at the moment on how many points? Owen Kilhausvik, 36 points, I believe. So you're 2 behind Zabinski.
That's nice.
There we go. So solidly in the top 20, which is great to hear. So I think, Owen, with that, I think we're sort of pretty much out of time. So we're going to have to let you go. But yeah, congrats on a good recovery today and a very good day for 100 to 1 as a whole.
Yeah, thank you, and good night.
It's nice to talk to you again, old friend.
Yes, good night.
Right, so Zone Kohalsvik celebrates a strong day for 100 to 1. KKR celebrate a shock victory. We didn't talk to Matthew McKinnon, but we just didn't have time to do so. I pretty sure just dragged the whole KKR team, but I wanted the focus to be on Menno. Rightly so, in his 300th and 301st Grand Prix, respectively. But wow, Alex, race 1 was pretty good. Matthias Micah comfortably winning it. And then race 2, everybody decided to destroy each other. And Menno can't profit it.
Yeah, it was insane. It was an insane night, an insane night to watch. A great racing. Well, in race 1, that is. Race 2 was a bit of chaotic racing. I do have one more thing to say. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I've said it in the GPV media group before I came on here. That after tonight, this will be my last time commentating on FS1.
Oh, sorry
Yeah,
to hear that. So you had to put up with me instead of Owen.
That's okay. I gotta decide to focus on myself, my family, and work and everything else, and of course my mental health, which has been a roller coaster at the moment. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, Ed, for doing the commentating today, and you know, Owen and Amir and the GPV team for having me in as a being part of the team, and you know, sorry that I missed a few races, of course, but I think I missed not too much. I think I missed Turkey and Canada and Great Britain out of all those, but other than that, it's time for me to focus on other things out of the sim racing world, and thank you everyone, thank you.
No worries, Alex. It's been brilliant having you along, and I hope to still see you a couple of times and catch up again in the future, because it's always fun to work with you, and you're committed, very dedicated, so it makes sense that if you need to focus on you, that should take priority. So all the best, my friend, and it's been a fun evening.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Called up quite late to do this, but anyway, right. So, and thank you finally to everybody at GPV who tuned in and gave us your time. Everybody outside of GPV who was treated to a lot of chaos there, but certainly it was a lot of fun. So congrats again to Matthias Micah and Menno Klont, our 2 winners. And good night from the Nurburgring. We'll see you at Spa in 2 weeks' time for more FS1 action. But until then, we've got next week Super Lights and Super League right here at the Nurburgring, along with GPV Academy. I forget where that's at, but that's on the Monday. So plenty of action to keep you satisfied until next week when the action happens. But anyway, goodbye for now, and we hope you enjoyed both of our FS1 races here at the Nurburgring. I've been Edward Hunter, and goodbye.